Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover.
It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Hey, the crossover is powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. Boys, how are we?
Good.
Happy Friday.
You got nothing? You're not feeling a certain way there, John?
No, I'm
John's having
I had
problem
too
with
much
his-
stuff. I had too much stuff to bring into the room today. I was all so
You did.
unpacked
I
kept going back and forth like, oh, crap, I forgot this thing. Crap, I forgot that thing. And now I'm late getting into the stream and everything's ruined. It's ruined, I tell you.
You did kind of look like you were like running away on a train. You
I
had that
was.
stick with like a bandana on the back and you're running away.
And now the
Like
stupid
Snoopy when he was
Firefox is
running
making
away.
me enter all this crap. I hate this,
Yeah,
man.
Firefox is the worst. I don't even know. Why would anyone
Well,
use Firefox?
you know what? I only did it, and it's making me mute the tab. It was
How
already
dare we?
muted.
Dairy.com.
I used to use the Chrome, but earlier this week we found out that anytime I would switch off of, like, go to a different window or something, it would freeze my video.
I love it when you use earlier this week when it was yesterday.
That was earlier this week, though.
Well, Monday.
He's not wrong.
No, Monday we found out about.
Gotcha.
Monday we found out about the freezing. Yesterday I switched to Firefox.
You never been frozen before?
I was
no.
frozen solid.
I often get cold though and think, how did the settlers do this? You know,
I've had that
many a time too,
too.
especially when I
Well,
had to
they
drive
went to
down.
the Western Union and they telegraphed their hot takes.
I had the thought.
Dang.
I had the thought the other day. So
George Washington and his Mickey Mouse war. He hasn't won a real battle.
Yes,
Looks like a guy like Napoleon.
I loved all the telegraphs from the 1760s.
I love to send spicy messages through Telegraph.
Nick Grant looks like a guy who takes up Morse code like as a hobby.
Ooh, big
No.
trucker guy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
is Nick Grimm a ham radio operator?
I could see that. Big
I have
radio
thought
guy.
about it. I could probably do ham
In a
radio.
different world, you had 8 less teeth and are a truck driver.
Probably.
Why can't semi-truck drivers have full road teeth there?
I'm just going off of stereotypes, Austin
Wow.
Jacobson.
You're going to do that to one of the largest truck stops in central Nebraska,
Yeah.
Grand Island?
You
Yeah.
are Central Nebraska's greatest son,
That's
Mr.
right.
Austin Jacobson.
Someone right now is listening at Thunder Road Bar and Grill in GI, and they just went, "Oh, that's me."
Thunder Road.
Take us home.
Anyway, so I have
Oh, back to you, I guess.
I had this thought the other day. Well, this is related to the other thing before you're the one who interrupted and pivoted.
I love pivoting.
So you know how people's eyesight goes bad.
Mhm.
Those people would usually get killed, back in caveman days
Wow.
because they can't see. Oh,
Yes.
there's a mammoth. I'm smushed.
Yeah, thrown off the mountain.
How did that gene get passed on to survive this long? Because I started losing my eyesight when I was 7.
I was about to say, it clearly didn't work with you because you have glasses. You know,
I think people just lied about how bad their eyesight was.
Well, they
Yeah,
managed.
but how did they not
Well, also, to be
Yeah.
fair, people didn't live as long, so their eyesight wouldn't go like horribly bad.
That's true.
So
That's also not
Which-
super. Like, people didn't live that long, but a lot of those statistics are skewed because of the high mortality rate in infants. That's why people just had a crap ton of kids because one or two of them would live.
that's right. And everybody wanted to farm back then.
Mhm.
Everyone wanted to farm.
Interesting.
still didn't work for the Von Erichs though.
Oh, what's that? What happened then?
They had a lot of kids.
I think the mic is on your computer.
Oh no.
Are we double down?
There
Are
you
we
go.
How dare we
now,
.com?
now we're good.
Jeez.
Now we should be good.
That Von Erich joke was more so for John, but he didn't. Really
I'm
put
sorry.
It
Well,
together.
I
He was
was
trying to figure out.
I
it
was
a great- he
acknowledging
was
the
playing-
people in the stream saying that there was an echo.
for our pro wrestling
Say it
ground.
again. What'd you say?
He was talking about like the high mortality rate, and that's why he had so many kids. And I go, didn't matter for the Von Erichs.
Yeah, no, they never evolved.
They never got
just-
any of those
They
genes.
just died.
They just
They
dropped
just-
like
They
flies.
just died.
It's tough.
Don't wrestle in Japan, Austin.
Don't wrestle in Japan.
Don't do
Oh, this is an Iron Claw reference.
Yes!
I get it.
Yeah! Live on Netflix.
There we
Yeah.
go.
What up?
See?
Come on, we got to beat this curse,
That's
Austin.
right. Hey, it's Zac Efron week because Nebraska plays.
Troy.
Gotta get your head in the game.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
got
right.
you. I got you a T necklace, John, for Troy.
You a big
A
High
T
School
necklace.
Musical guy,
Yeah,
John?
What's
It's a
a
nice-
T necklace?
It's a necklace that has a T.
I think if you
Where
were,
did you get that?
No,
I got it from
John, no.
John.
You've
John,
never seen
well-
the cinematic classic High School Musical 1, 2, or 3?
I got it from
No,
East
I
High,
have
East High
not.
Wildcat, 2-time state champion Troy Bolton.
Yeah, truly. If
Oh,
you're
well,
watching,
that's not the real Troy.
if you're watching any Troy Trojan film this week, that's
You're a loser.
incorrect.
Yes.
You need to be watching High School Musical 1, where the East Side Wildcats did win the state championship.
Wildcats.
Get your head in the game.
Thank you, Nick.
Bang.
What team?
Man, I am
Wildcats.
surrounded
What team?
by way
Wildcats.
too damn
What
many-
team?
Wildcats.
way too
Wildcats.
many young
Get your head in the
people.
game.
Good Lord.
Got to get your head in the game. John.
This is ridiculous.
You can make it listen.
Swing it down low. Wait for a rink mask to head a hook shot.
Bang.
John-
See, you've got it.
High School Musical for our age
not
group, it
gonna
was
stop.
huge.
Not
Giant.
gonna stop till
Massive.
it's done.
Which
Which
explains
explains
everything I need to know about your generation.
Bet on it. Bet on it. Bet
I
on it.
don't think High School Musical is the root of the problems for Gen Z.
No, it was Pokemon. That was
Yeah,
easily
no,
the
that
number
would
one
do
problem.
it.
Yeah.
Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Because then all the kids stopped looking up in the sky and the trees to climb and started looking down in their hands, playing their Game
I need to get a
Boys.
shiny Charmander.
The
Are
Game
they
Boy-
still doing that thing where they're following the Pokemons? on
Pokemon
the
Go?
phone?
Pokemon Go to the polls. No.
Some people do.
Did you hear that actually was used to like create a massive AI database and like Pokemon Go, like
Yes.
actually
What?
advanced
You're
AI?
saying that they use this against everybody
Yes,
and took your information?
literally.
I'm shocked.
Literally.
Famously, there's that phrase: if something is free, that means you're the product.
It's kind of
What?
like back
Whoa.
in the day, going back to wrestling for a moment. Every week they would say, "Hey, if you would like to vote for the manager of the year, send your ballots here." All it was, they didn't count in one damn vote. All it was to get you on a mailing list so they could send you the catalog. At the
Isn't
end
it
of the
beautiful?
year.
That was beautiful marketing. What, you don't like?
No. I'm just saying, but that's the.
I'm going to
today,
tell you right
the
now.
modern equivalent is, hey, download this app. You get all this free crap. Oh, by the way, we now know where you live, what you eat, and how you sleep.
You learn a lot about life by reading about the marketing techniques of Jim Crockett Wrestling and what a draw is.
Wow.
You really do.
Hmm.
You learn a lot. You go ahead and you want to like grow up real quicker. Just start reading the dirt sheets from
Grow up real
1982.
quicker.
Yeah, real quicker. real faster.
Real quicker.
Go ahead and read the
Sounds
dirt
like a
sheets from
slur.
pro wrestling.
I'll be honest. That sounds like
You're
a slur.
you're a quicker.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
A slur.
Don't look me in the eyes and say
slur.
that.
Did you hear about
That's what we call you running folk.
Come here, you
That's
quicker.
actually what Central Nebraskans call people from Omaha. Oh,
those quickers.
those quickers.
Those quickers.
Those just trying to get
No,
back,
I'm
trying to
telling
get
you.
around.
I'm telling you. Now that we've got the Central Nebraska audience, I got your attention. As somebody
Yeah,
who
you
makes
got-
the drive,
You got their attention by calling Josh a communist all Monday. That's all you did. The entire 4
Yes.
hours ago, my communist co-host.
Yes,
Well, I mean-
red scare them.
I mean-
That's the right way to do it.
he was.
I mean,
Anyway,
have you seen Nebraska football? That's all the red scare.
I
you
mean,
need.
John's dressed like the blue dot right now, and he's talking to Central Nebraska.
as somebody who drives that interstate every single day between Omaha and Lincoln, the folks from Central Nebraska, your 8 counties, what's Kearney?
9.
9 county,
I can give you all of them. You wanna go down?
Hastings,
You know all of them.
Hastings 14.
14.
Yep.
I'm
Such a
telling you,
weird
the
party
odds of you getting passed doing at least 90 by somebody from one of those counties is pretty damn high, especially on the weekend.
Well, and the chances
I mean,
that,
they are in a damn hurry to get over here.
and the chances that they have an open container in that car also very high.
So I'm just saying, kudos to you. Y'all drive really fast.
Oh yeah,
Austin can say this. He is up there.
I am of that place.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's almost like you think, hey, I'm out here in the middle of central Nebraska. There's not a lot of traffic. I can do 90. It's like being on the highways in Montana. There's nobody around. And then all of a sudden, oh, crap, there's a bunch of cars here. Well, I'm still going to go 90.
Do you still do the open container thing, or have you lived here long enough to get out of that?
I choose not to answer.
That is
I refrain from
great-
answering that.
That is a great choice. That is a phenomenal choice. My new favorite slur is
Okay, whoa.
Excuse me.
it's what I call
Does this count as the under?
this is what I call
I believe that was a game show there
my favorite slur.
in 1938 in Berlin.
I'll tell you my favorite.
Hey,
It is time for Germany's new favorite game show. What's your favorite slur? Here is your host, Colonel Klink.
Colonel
Wow.
Clink. No.
anyway,
Clink.
sorry, go ahead. Your
That's
Let
a
me see
slur.
the papers.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
me
that-
see the
what's your
papers.
favorite
You've never
slur?
seen Hogan's Heroes?
No.
That was the name of the German camp operator.
Wow. I'm learning more and more.
And his
My
dumbass
favorite
assistant,
slur
Schultz.
Pylon. Pylon.
Pylon, like
You're-
the pylon on the goal line?
You're a
Mm,
pylon.
you're a pylon.
That's what I call the football people who try and talk about basketball in March. They're a bunch of pylons. Shut up, you pylon.
But
Yeah,
why do you
why-
call them that?
Yeah,
What's the
what-
connection?
Because
Yeah,
they go,
where's the
Troy
German?
is big. Troy is so big. Oh my God, they got a 6'9" guy. I go, you pylon. You don't know what you're talking about.
Wouldn't it be better to call them a basketball reference since they wouldn't understand it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Or just say they have CTE because they probably do.
Bang.
well, another one of my favorite slurs.
Are you
is
backwards
for,
hat Matt right now?
Yeah, I am.
Nice.
I
Is
see
for the guys who trained to 4 schools in 4 years. One and run.
Whoa.
That guy's just got one and run.
Did you wake up in a cold sweat with that
No,
one?
I'm stealing these all from Twitter. So
nice.
all the
Oh,
Twitters.
wait a minute.
move.
These aren't even yours.
There's nothing I say is original.
Wow. First you steal
Here, I was
the
gonna-
wavy lays from the office. Now you're stealing jokes from
Whoa!
X.
Those were our meeting lays. You can't just
Wait a
steal our.
second.
You weren't even in the meeting.
Were those in our meeting?
Yes.
I never got any.
Whoa. Well, now's your chance.
We had the bowl
Better
of
have
Chex
it.
Mix
Well,
and we had the bowl of Lays.
Well, I had the Chex Mix, but now he's had his dirty paws in that thing. I
You
don't want
need to
be
watch
sharing.
the show. I do and say what I want. I mean,
Wow.
I wanted the wavy lays.
That'll
I
teach you.
got the wavy lays.
Are those better than Ruffles?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Disagree.
No,
Ruffles
no.
better.
Ruffles have better structural integrity.
Yes,
than
they
those.
do.
It doesn't
Yes, they
Cage
do.
match right now on
It's not the same.
Ruffles or Lays.
Ruffles have better structural integrity.
That's
Those are
right.
just
Not even
wavy.
simply true.
That doesn't.
Yes,
how does
it
it make it a
is.
better
It's
chip?
not. Oh my
How does
God.
it make it a
Yes,
better
it
chip?
is. Oh
How
my
does
God.
structural
In a dip,
integrity
this
make it a better chip?
In a dip, how is the ruffle is a more
Look
structured?
at how thick
Well,
this
first
chip
of all,
is.
you picked one that's
All right.
folded over.
We need to get some dip and settle this. We need some dip and some Ruffles.
We need
I'm
some
always
dip
good for
and
dip.
some
I'm from
Ruffles.
Central
Not
Those
that
are
dip,
good chips.
Scott
Don't
Frost.
get me wrong. I'm not saying
Yes.
the wavy lays aren't good chips. I'm saying that the structural integrity of the Ruffle is more rigid for the dipping than the wavy
This is
lays.
worse than your
100%.
onion ring take.
Look at
This
this-
is worse than that.
Worse than what?
Your onion ring take.
We're not talking about the aerodynamics. We're talking about the
Hold on.
structure.
Look at this. Time out.
Look at
We
this.
were
Look at
supposed to
this
do
dip.
onion rings the next time he was here.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
Why is this my thing?
Well, you were supposed to remind me. I'm old.
Okay,
I
yeah,
forget.
that's fair. Yeah, I thought you guys were yelling at me.
Okay,
that I
so
had to
now we
bring it
need
in.
a bag of Ruffles, a French
Do we
onion
have
dip,
dip
and,
around? Do we have
and
dip?
some
We
onion
don't have
rings
dip.
from Runza, so we can watch tiny baby teeth over here not be able to bite through the onion ring.
That's so offensive to my people. How dare you? You take that all back. The 9 county
What the-
folk will get here in 2.5 hours, and they will be very upset.
First
with
of all,
you.
the 9 county folk probably don't have some of their teeth, so they can't bite through the onion ring.
That's not true. All people from UNK are very educated. All right.
Okay.
Wow. They got their associate degrees, and they're very happy about it.
Bunch of college cool
the
kids.
toothless-
Just don't go to the dental school.
The toothless jokes really took like just a high mark as soon as we started going on 97.7
I know.
zone.
It's
We,
like-
we didn't talk about toothless people at all. Then all of a sudden we're on Central Nebraska.
Yeah.
They're just getting flown everywhere.
It's like How to Train Your Dragon in here, just toothless. Everywhere.
Nice.
Double bang him!
Nice.
Double bang
That's
Austin!
a double bang.
Breen
bang.
him.
I
We called
I didn't get
We're
it.
calling it breening, by the way.
Mm.
That sounds like a slur.
I wish I could be breeding right now.
Yeah.
No, okay, so getting back to the crux of our yelling shout match.
Yes.
Look
That
at
was-
the aerodynamics of this chip right
Okay,
now. You're
but-
telling me you couldn't put a lot of dip on
Okay,
this
no,
chip?
hold
You
on, wait,
can.
no, no.
I'm saying that the structural
No, no, hold
integrity
on.
of the Ruffle
We're
is
all-
superior.
we're
The
all
Lays are more
arguing.
likely to snap in a dip than the Ruffles are.
How many
How
times
do you know that?
And also,
Because
how many
I've
times
had
are
'em.
why are we using these strictly for dip? Why can't we just judge the content of the
Why
chip
can't
by
we just
itself?
eat the chip? They
Oh,
put
no,
more
no, no,
salt
no,
on
no,
these
Brad,
things.
no.
Thank you.
And the
Hold
waves,
on.
the waves are wider on this chip, which actually I think is way better because it gets stuck in your teeth less.
Yeah, let's hand up. I'm anti-dip. I don't prefer a dip. I
Well,
like
okay.
a chip.
I love a
I
French
was-
onion dip. My mom makes her own
No,
French
you're
onion
from
dip.
Chicago.
so
Now
This
we're talking two different things here because
Yes.
I'm agreeing with Nick on the structural
To
integrity.
be fair, you guys
Now-
are shouting. I'm just talking.
Now forget about. Now let's put the dip off to the side.
Okay.
In terms
That's
of
typically
taste.
where it is.
Yes, it is a side dish.
Yes,
Just
thank
in
you. Good
terms
job,
of
Matt.
taste.
You too.
I
Austin.
would still say that the Ruffles are superior because there are more ridges, thus the salt settles in a little bit more. There's just a little more salt content
No.
That's
than there is in the wavy
You've
Lay.
been ruffle brained. That's
You
because
have? No,
I haven't.
you don't
I
believe in
have
marketing.
those far more
We're
than
not-
I
the
have
marketing.
Ruffles.
The marketing is Ruffles have ridges, so you just assume.
So-
you
no,
placebo
that's how it
effect.
works.
You're
Mandela
you're so
affected
wrong.
yourself.
That
You're
is
so
how it
wrong.
works.
It's not what a Mandela
Good-
effect is, Matt.
Good one, Matt.
I
Thank you,
want
thank you.
I want to also make this argument here, right? The point of the shape of the Ruffles and those Lays is for dipping. That
Yes.
is an ideal dipping medium for chip.
What about texture when you chew?
I'm just talking
Wider
about the
chips,
design itself. The
wider
waviness,
chips.
the ridges. The point of the waves and the ridges is for dipping. It's supposed to maximize the dip that makes it onto your chip.
I don't know if that's completely true. I don't really look at. I don't go, hey, I'm having a dip tonight. Oh, we have to get the Ruffles. I just prefer getting the chip I like.
it.
But you're
Nick
not
was
gonna
right.
dip into
Is he right?
you're not gonna dip
Yeah.
normal Lays into a French onion.
You definitely can. There is nothing wrong with
You,
that.
So
you
that's
can,
where-
but that's like
What are you talking?
that's
That's
a
awesome.
suicide
Matt,
mission.
Yeah, Matt, you stay on your side of the ship that's
I'm
sinking.
gonna
I'm not.
tell you-
doing that part.
because
wait, I
that
just wanna
sucker
say-
breaks on contact. I
Listen,
mean, that has to be
okay,
some
okay.
liquidy
You,
dip.
you open the bag and it is already broken.
Can you let me talk real quick?
No.
Let me 2 seconds. You take 3 chips.
That's all you
take
need.
3 Lays, and then you dip. You dip the 3 different chips. Then you keep the structure.
Yeah, and,
No,
and
hold
then,
on.
and then,
No,
and then when the
Matt,
first
be
2
quiet, Matt,
break,
be
You
quiet.
layer
You're gonna
the Lays.
lose us a future
You layer
argument.
the Lays, and
Matt,
then
no.
when you layer
Matt,
it, then
no.
you dip it,
Matt,
and you put
no.
it in your mouth.
Stop.
This is how I
Matt,
eat
no.
Lays.
Matt,
This has nothing to do with our
ridiculous.
wavy conversation.
No, it will. You're going to lose us a future conversation. You have to relax this part of your conversation. You have to relax this part of the argument.
There's no argument. I'm just
that's
telling you.
literally
I
the
love
reason why
regular Lays.
Ruffles were invented to make
Here's
the
thing.
potato
There's more
chip more
salt on these
dippable.
things. There's less ridges. They're more
disagree.
structurally intact.
I-
There's more salt on these things. These things taste better.
See, the last
This
thing.
shit tastes
I
better.
disagree. I think Ruffles taste better.
I like less Ruffles and more salt. This is what this has. It's real potatoes. You have fake potatoes with Ruffles.
No,
That's not
you
true. That's not
don't.
true. That's not true.
I've never seen a Ruffles potato farm.
Oh, hey, got him.
Where are they? Where are the Russell potato farmers amongst us? Although they aren't named directly after potatoes.
Look, this is
No.
we're not talking mountains. The more ridges ain't the better. All right.
The ridges help with the integrity, is what we're saying.
Are you happy with that, Matt?
I really marinated on that joke and thought it would land a little bit better. If I'm being honest with you.
I wanted to laugh, but I couldn't.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I know. No, I appreciate it. Austin's gotten to the point
just-
where he knows me well enough.
Yeah.
Now I can think, and I'm not saying anything, but he knows how I'm processing things.
I just prefer the Ruffles because they're a little more dense. It's a little more potatoey.
Can we
That's
all just agree that a kettle chip is the proper way to chip?
1000%. I love kettle
Thank you.
chips.
I
They're
don't
my
really have
favorite
that
chip.
much
A salt
strong
and vin
opinion
chip?
on-
Oh,
100%.
all right.
Bang.
Vomit.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Oh yeah,
God
you're probably
almighty.
a sour cream and onion boy, aren't you?
Well, I
Thank
do
you.
like sour
That
cream
was
and
the
onion. I
most
like
white
most
guy
of the
thing I've
flavored
ever
chips.
seen.
But
good
you
thing
can
we're white.
take that
You are
salt
white.
and vinegar and turn it up sideways and shove it up your Rudy Poo candy
Wow.
pie hole.
That's
Wow.
fine. I could eat it again and still enjoy it. Then that'd be perfect.
Well, that's yes, because it tastes exactly like where it's going.
I love an S&V.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
But I really don't have that many strong
You always came
opinions on
across as an S&M guy.
What's S&M? I don't know. Is that Sonny Michel, the running back for Georgia?
That is correct. Sonny
that's
Michel.
exactly what
Sony
it is.
Michel, very close.
Sony
Sony
Michel.
Sony Michel. I thought Sonny
not,
Michel was
not
gonna be
Sonny
awesome in the
Michel.
league.
What about our good
Sonny
friend Sam
Michel.
McEwen? It could
Sonny
be him.
Michel might have been in an S&M video. Sony Michel ran for the Patriots.
I don't know what S&M is.
You
Is
should
that-
Google it.
That
Yeah,
sounds like
Google
a
it on the work
Look, that
computer.
sounds like
now, speaking on behalf of Central Nebraska, do we need to explain to both them and
Well,
or do they know?
No,
what
actually,
S&M is?
near that truck stop we referenced earlier in Grand Island, there is a Dr. John. So
Oh.
you
Then
would
they
be able to
probably
find out
know.
Yeah, they're
about it.
familiar.
Yeah, they should be.
Though I
Is that
wonder
still
what the
banned here? Can you still not watch the S&Ms on your phone anymore here?
Well, you would be the only one who would really know.
Yeah.
Matt. So
Yeah.
why don't you? Just,
I don't do that.
what now.
only when you're back home because you can actually watch
I only
it. Right?
do it on Mondays through Fridays from the hours of 5 p.m.
You
to 12
notice how
a.m.
though
But
how
other than
the,
that, I'm clean.
the Dr. John's located next to the truck stop.
Yes.
I wonder what the breakdown is of locals versus
Great
truck
question.
drivers,
Great
aka
question.
travelers who partake in
Is
that.
this
sport.
Dr.
Much
John?
like the one that is off of, is it 84th off the interstate? It's next to the Denny's, which I
Oh,
think
yeah.
is a very
That's
strategic.
Yep.
an Adam and Eve.
Oh, very good. Yes.
Yes.
No, honestly, having an Adam and Eve right next to a Denny's is probably the primary target of people you're looking for.
Yeah, that's
Is
good.
Dr. John's?
Oh, these pancakes were
is
good.
Dr.
You know what I
John,
could
is
go
he a-
for now?
Is he a practicing?
Maybe we take the syrup from the
Physician?
Denny's.
No, Dr. John's is not a practicing physician.
He's not a practicing
You
physician?
should go visit Dr. John's. They can give you a physical.
Oh,
That would be very
I
good.
do need because Dan.
Well, they definitely have things they're supposed to
Dan-
go there.
Dan Patrick's been talking
Smiles
about it. I do need to
and
get a
glory
rectal
holes.
exam. I should
Well
go
done.
to Dr. John's.
Yeah, you should go to Dr. John's.
Colon cancer.
Hmm.
Scary, isn't it?
Wow.
That's what Dan Patrick says
That's true.
on our airwaves.
Mhm.
You clearly don't listen. Check the back seat.
I mean, I listen
already
on the
did that
stream
one.
where there are no commercials. So yeah.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah,
So
no.
progressive.
I'm an internet boy. What can I
You're
say?
Such an internet
Yeah.
boy.
I try to stay.
Did you see our internet attempt today? Of
Yeah, I
trying to-
did. Looked
failed.
somewhat grainy.
Yeah,
little bit.
somewhat.
Somewhat grainy.
It was ridiculous.
I wanted to
Are you
comment and
saying
say
that Jack's technology was a little lacking?
They told us. I compared it. I made a Star Trek reference in the morning. I was like, "This is like transwarp beaming. This is like trying to shoot a bullet with a smaller bullet while riding a horse blindfolded." Like this is
I love that
this is kind of ridiculous. Like we literally are having them set up on a box with multiple microphones in a moving car, using a hotspot through Kansas with no internet.
Where were they in Kansas?
In the Bumble F. Okay,
they were not close to Wichita.
They are nowhere near. There was not a building taller than 5 stories within 100 miles.
So who pitched this idea?
I pitched it.
Okay.
I pitched. Wait. I pitched it.
Kind of tracks, doesn't it?
Okay,
yeah, a little bit.
Get the hell out of here. Let me explain this. I pitched it. And I said, this is something cool that we could do, and we can take up 2 segments because this is a really big deal for Jack. Like, Jack is a crazy psycho Nebraska basketball fan. And I thought
it's not very nice to say about your friend.
You could have stopped after crazy psycho.
A colleague. And so,
Good one, Nick.
Thanks.
Anyway, I didn't hear that. You can bring yourself, though, if you want to.
Double bang.
Anyway, what was I saying? I pitched it. They told me we can do it. We tested it. It's great. We're good to go.
Where did you test it?
Yeah, they tested it from probably right outside of Jack's house.
They went to Kansas
they
quick.
They tested it within their own Wi-Fi network.
Exactly.
So when
piece of cake.
When the streams are joining each other on the same Wi-Fi network, obviously they're going to work.
Right.
So they go, we're good, and then they join in. 30 seconds in, the camera falls over. It's like they're breaking in and out, like and literally go, how you guys doing? They go,
this whole broadcast is going to be one beautiful disaster.
I think it'll go great.
How do you know that was their connection and they weren't just doing that to mess with you?
No, because then we started doing an interview. It was funny. Our timing was so off. The delay was so bad.
Oh, yeah.
That we had to do over and out. Like when you were done talking, go over.
That's funny.
I like, you should have done the squelch of the radio.
Oh, that would have been
good.
funny. That would have been very funny.
Well, we gave ourselves
the ham radio.
Jack was Nighthawk. I was Blackhawk, and
Chicago. I get it.
Josh was Bookworm. That was his code name.
Should have been Bookhawk.
I wanted to call him P-Brain, because he's got a small little head. Josh Peterson's head is so tiny. It's crazy, man. But he's got a great head of hair. Got a tiny little head.
Jeez. I like how you're getting all your shots in now while he can't be.
Oh, I say this to his face. I say this to his face.
He can't defend himself.
I say this right to his face.
They're not listening right now because they're obviously in an internet dead zone.
Right.
Somebody once asked me, they go, you tweeted that at him. Would you say that to that person? I go, depending on the person.
Interesting.
Would you say that to Brian Urlacher's face? Absolutely not. I'd be like, hi, Mr. Urlacher. Nice to meet you.
How many times are you tweeting at Brian Urlacher?
Not a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but when he does.
Does Brian Urlacher even know how to run Twitter?
Ooh, good question.
Great question.
Brian Urlacher has hair now, which is really concerning.
No, he actually, man, he was ahead of the curve. Like, he started doing it before it was cool. And he's on the billboards everywhere in Chicago with him and his head of hair. The problem was, though, is that Brian Urlacher was a good bald guy. Like, he looked good bald.
Sure.
There is a distinct difference between, like, good bald guys and just, like, bald guys that you're like, oh.
Boom. No, do you know who's a great bald guy? Connor Happer. Connor Happer is a really good, he's good bald. Like, that works for Connor.
Is Happer is bald? This is news to me. I've never seen him.
Yeah, Happer's bald.
Whoa.
Wait, you've never seen Happer?
I don't think I've ever seen him without a hat on.
Oh.
What?
Does he wear
this
hats?
is not true.
Does he wear hats
You've
for, like,
never
Jay's
seen
Live?
Happer without a hat on?
Does he wear hats like
No,
crazy?
not at Jay's Live.
Not at Jay's Live at all. What are you talking about? Is this a bit? You've
No.
never seen Happer without a hat
Look
on?
at the computer, Matt. Look at the computer.
Are you confusing
Oh,
him with...
whoa. No, he is bald. Whoa.
He's very bald.
No,
Yeah.
I must have just always in my brain put a hat on Connor Happer's head and never considered that
his
he was actually
baldness
bald.
offended you so much that
He's
you had
like,
to block it out mentally.
is very
Connor
true.
to you is like Tom Landry was to me. I never saw Tom Landry without the
There you go,
hat.
yes.
And then one time he took off the hat, and I remembered looking at and pointing at the TV going, he's bald! Because I'd never seen him without the fedora.
That was me right there. I saw that photo of Happer and I was like, oh my God, he doesn't wear a hat.
That's
This
incredible.
is legit because Austin is nervous and his forehead vein is really popping right now.
Yeah, this thing comes out when I'm nervous.
Dude,
That's right.
yeah, absolutely.
Should've
It's a great
seen this on
read.
my engagement.
Well, I mean, that's
Brain
funny.
Brain him.
Double bang.
That is funny.
By the way, he accused me of trying to steal his fiance on Twitter for the whole world to see.
You said it on air.
No,
Wait, what?
I did not say it on
You
air.
said you were specifically going after women
That's
in the
not
medical field.
No, I was not going after women in the medical field. Women in the medical field love me because I'm their little tiny idiot and they like to tend to
Again, who does that sound like?
you.
No. Okay, so who are you trying to get after then?
Not your fiance.
You
She's
just
already
kind of
taken.
described her. Just saying.
Didn't I describe you and I kind of look the same? Bushy eyebrows, the
I
black
don't
hair.
like where this is implying. Again, this is going back to when Matt said, well, if you're not taking care of your wife.
Why you always got to get weird about his fiance?
I'm not getting weird at all.
Get weird
He's
about
the-
Nick's fiance for once. Jeez.
Oh, please don't.
Don't tempt
So
me.
that's how this generation works. You're just constantly swinging around, just constantly trading fiancés.
I am having pineapple tonight, so yeah. I guess.
Yeah, but you flip
You're
that
having
baby.
Congrats.
pineapple?
Yeah.
Upside down pineapple.
Why are you
That's
having
right.
pineapple?
Oh, we're having
Oh,
friends
Nick
over.
got the joke.
Yes, I know
Great
the
job. Great job.
Thank you. Paige and I were at I think it was Junk Stock, and we went to a booth that just had a bunch of old keychains from hotels and stuff.
Wait,
We
what?
found one from Motel 8 where the other side of it said we're pineapple people, and we thought about buying it. We're like, nah, it's fine. We regretted it the second we left. It would
Why?
have been
Because
the
you-
funniest keychain to
That
have.
would have been very good, especially when you handed it to other people. Be
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah, just, get it on our
Just
house.
saying,
That 100% would have been our spare key keychain.
Here's my
Yes.
card. Here's my card. Let's look at Nick Grimm's keychain.
Bang.
That was a good one. See, I see movies. I'm watching episode 5 of The Godfather.
Oh yeah, yeah. Have you heard this?
Of
He
episode
can't
5
watch
of
The Godfather straight through. He watches it in 30-minute increments.
Yeah,
Are you the
a
whole
child.
he's got brain rot, Austin.
Yeah, literally. Do you want us to put Subway Surfers underneath it? Would that help you out?
Dude, that would so help me out.
That's crazy.
That, and I would love an AI description of what's going on.
The whole point that The Godfather, both Part 1 and Part 2, which it's just The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, but regardless, the point of it being so great is that it is like you get to see sequentially like how this all breaks down and like the madness that overcomes a family and a man. And you're just neglecting that to be like, oh, 30 minutes is up. Time to,
I
watch
get
TikTok
I
again.
get late into the night when I have a lot of things to do before I can watch a movie. There's a lot of things I have to get done. before
Like
I can
what?
watch a movie. Workout, walk.
Whoa,
Get
big
ready.
workout guy.
Go ahead and I'm trying to be because Carlos in the chat always talking about how I'm getting fat.
Well, Matt,
Well, why don't you?
I took
figure
a
out
picture
way
with my
to-
buddy and I look like an overweight English professor.
Have
you
you,
can-
thought
you
that
can
maybe
carve out
Carlos in the
sometimes.
chat is a dumbass?
He could be.
whoa.
Whoa. I take the criticism of people to heart and try to
Also,
improve
Well,
myself.
don't do that because you'll spiral.
To be fair,
I'm
Matt,
not spiraling. I'm getting in shape.
maybe don't wear youth medium hoodies.
It's not a youth medium hoodie.
I don't know.
One of the a very pretty
Oh,
girl in my
wh-
class gave this to me. So
I was going to
very
say
near and dear to my heart.
Was she in the medical field?
which former Husker
no,
athlete
she was
did
in
you steal
marketing.
from this closet?
I'm really good. Marketing or medicine is like they love me.
They call you Eminem for a reason.
Yes, they do. Had a boy, bring them. So
Stop bringing me.
I'm not going to bring
what'd you ask?
Thank you.
What'd you ask?
I was asking which former athlete or person who works in the athletic department did you?
She worked
get
for a
this
marketing.
out of their
She worked for a marketing
cloak?
company,
Okay.
and she had a Jawan Gary T-shirt or a Keisei Tominaga hoodie, and I took the Tominaga hoodie. I took the Toma hoodie, if you will.
I'm guessing there were a lot of those in stock.
A ton.
Hoodie Casey.
Hoodie Keisei.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
What a full circle we have been on this
Yes.
trip. This has been a crossover.
This
for sure.
has definitely
This has been a Happy New Year. Yes, it has.
I don't know if I want to relive this. The shouting we had in the middle over lays and ruffles. I might emanate in my soul forever. I don't know if I'll ever get over that.
hot in here.
Well, yeah, you're wearing a sweatshirt
It's 70 degrees outside.
and you've been yelling and gesticulating and all this
We had
stuff.
a gesticulating.
Yeah.
Wow.
Eating the
You
meeting
can find
chips
those at Dr. John's.
Yes, you can.
next
That's
to
where I'm
the
getting my
S&M.
rectal exam.
Yes. Wow.
That's what he said. He said he was a practicing practitioner.
I never said he was a practicing physician. Never said that.
You should go into a Dr. John's and ask who is a practicing physician.
I'm here for Dr. John.
Yes.
I'd like a checkup, please. Can you check out this rash?
Could you take my blood? Your funny voicemail thing yesterday. Good stuff.
Well, we
Don't play it. I don't want
That's
to.
fine. It's
No,
not
no.
on the wall anymore.
no.
That was good stuff.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoy everything you do, John. but-
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Good enough.
All
That's
right.
awesome.
We'll be doing a remote from Dr. John's.
I
Next time I'm
cannot
Will
doing
we?
that. Yeah.
Well, you know what?
I'll
Maybe
co-host.
maybe we wait for the one in Grand Island
Yeah.
Yes, we wait for
listen.
the grand opening and we can meet our great friends in Central Nebraska at Dr. John's.
and all the truck drivers who are
yes,
just
who
passing
have
through.
all their teeth.
Well, most people who work in Central Nebraska are truck drivers. So, to be fair,
You know so much about that.
they got a
that
lot of
place.
places to go. A
You're
lot of
awesome.
places to be.
They kind of deliver the goods, man.
They
Central, by the way, he's now no longer high school Austin Jacobson on Friday. He's now Central Nebraska Jacobson.
That's
on
sick.
Friday. Yeah, you're so cool.
What's
Thank
the
you, I appreciate
difference?
I don't know. It's just me and Austin joshing around it.
Oh,
Which is big Josh.
Well, you know, the high school sports season's not over.
No, I do have a baseball game tomorrow.
Baseball.
Millard South and Millard North. Big one for the Millard rivalry.
Yeah, we'll
Nice.
really break that down next week.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's fine.
All right. Well, there you go. There's your crossover.
We made it.
We did it.
Powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. We will be back. What a beautiful day this is. You think it's warm in here now. Just wait till you go outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's even warmer.
Or stay in here for all the hot takes.
Did you bother to wash your hair today?
No, it was a long night. It was
Oh,
St.
my
Patrick's Day.
God.
Did you wash in Guinness?
JMO ginger beers.
Whoa.
Nice.
This dude's sick. He
I'm
drinks.
I drink.
Well, now you can get sober.
I haven't been drunk.
On the 1620 The Zone radio network.
KOCN. Unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
Kept up on goofballs or something?
No, I just love this theme song, man.
You just like gyrating all over the place and dancing and gesturing.
Let the man gyrate, John.
I know. It's just you brought a lot of energy already.
Candle white guy
You
gyrate.
screamed at me about ruffles.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
In my many years on the planet, I've been screamed at for a lot of things, but not about ruffles.
What about onion rings? Because that was also me.
I'm really.
I don't like that we always shout at each other, John. I think
no,
we're
we
better
don't
friends
always.
than that.
No, we don't always shout at each other. Those were the only 2 times we shouted at each other. But I'm ashamed because I've forgotten the last time you filled in. We had the argument about the onion rings.
That's
and
right.
the fact that your tiny baby teeth can't bite through a Runza onion ring, and you don't like the Runza onion ring because you think the onion always slides out of the breading. And I
Like
said,
an
well,
eel.
if you know,
Like
and
an
it,
eel.
when it does do it, it does kind of remind you of that.
See? Yeah.
But it doesn't if you know how to bite through an onion.
That's true. Maybe I just need to be taught. Would you like to be my teacher on how to fight
And
through an
that's
onion
why,
ring?
again, I'm ashamed. I forgot that today could have been a perfect day. We could have run over to the runs. It could have gotten some onion
That's right.
rings and watched your tiny little baby teeth dry. It'd be like watching my new puppy, Woods.
You have a puppy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's John's
little
wood.
Woodsy, little
We haven't
Woodsy.
got an update on your wood. How's your wood?
Woods is doing fine. He's I didn't give the dog the name. That was Christian's job. But
Has wood gotten bigger?
he is getting bigger. And I
Oh, because
think
it's not as cold out?
he
He was smaller when it was colder.
Yeah, see, that makes sense.
He has a very appropriate name because he goes outside and I swear to God, he is eating the wood. He is eating sticks, twigs,
Little bark liquor.
mulch, leftover mulch from last spring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy with this
Has
dog.
he
Well, if
seen
you would
the-
feed the poor guy.
No, we
that's
feed
true.
him. Oh, he gets fed. Oh my God. And he does a spaz when it comes.
Has
I was
he-
standing there eating a salad today before I came into work, and he's like at my feet, like, I gotta have some. I
And
gotta
they
have
never want that. The dogs never want that. Like I've offered Ava my dog like many times. I'm like, if
Yeah.
you want this so bad, you can have some. And then I give
Yeah.
it to her, and she's like, "This isn't what I thought it was." Then what are you doing here?
Well, I see Woods is it's that young enough age where I could drop anything on the floor and it'd be like, I gotta eat this now, and then and it's gone, and there's no chewing, no nothing.
Yeah.
But
I do like the puppy phase is fun, and even though everyone likes to complain about like all the oh you gotta do this training and stuff,
Yeah,
it
the
is kind of
training.
adventurous. I do
Mhm.
enjoy it. I think I find it fun.
it can be. I mean, this will be an interesting weekend because I'm not working this weekend.
Whoa,
This is a rare weekend because
one-on-one
normally
time with your wood.
one-on-one time. I'm gonna have plenty of time with my Woods this week.
You gonna take it outside?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely have
Nice.
to.
You gonna pet your woods?
Woods always gets petted. Yes.
Especially on the weekends.
Woods always gets played with.
Nice.
Good one, John.
Very nice.
But yeah, so there'll be plenty of time.
Breed 'em.
Plenty of time to bond with my Woods.
Nice.
Is your wood shy? Is it like coming out for other people?
No, Woods is not shy.
Hmm.
Woods loves people.
The
Woods
confidence of his father.
Woods
Doesn't like to hide.
Woods' big thing is
It's always in the bush.
when he's playing and wants to play with one of his toys, he grabs one of his toys and then runs to me and sits in my lap to chew on the toy.
Mm.
It's just one of his things that he does.
Yeah, nothing better than
And
someone
then
in your lap.
then he starts wrestling with Wrigley, and of course the wrestling has to happen next
yes,
to me,
directly next to you.
not
yes.
not
of course.
over there,
Mhm.
not 5 feet away, not 10 feet away. No, it's got to be right at me.
Yeah, they're always body checking you. They're always trying to like.
He's got this weird fighting style too, where instead of going straight in,
Crouching Tiger.
He'll charge, and then he'll do the thing where he turns his body sideways and basically just tries to body check his way in, and then starts biting.
Yeah,
Wrigley.
slam him into the glass first, and then
It is
Incredible. How did he learn that?
I have no idea. Maybe we were watching too much hockey. I don't know, but it's just like this constant, turn the body, check in, and then he also likes to jump on Wrigley's back and get riding time.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Woods always likes the riding time. Yep, exactly.
You should get the green and red wrists for him. Get
I
him.
should. Well, if I did, he'd start chewing the things and then he'd be gone. But anyway,
Good
plenty of
talk.
time. Plenty of time to bond with my Woods this weekend.
Good to hear. I'm
And
happy
my
for you.
Wrigley.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Grum. If you didn't recognize the voice, it's Austin Jacobson.
The voice
back.
of Central Nebraska.
I'm always happy to be here. I just never get many opportunities with John. You're
Yeah.
usually busy. So
Well,
I'm just
yeah,
glad I get to
exactly.
hang out with
Usually
you.
I'm the one that's on the road
Yeah.
this time of year. Now Josh is gallivanting across the country.
I know. So now this is where the chat can start putting the rumors out like, oh, Austin's in for Josh. Is something happening? Because every time I filled in for you, people were like, well, is John coming back? Who knows?
I mean, we are on the air in Central Nebraska, a place that you're very familiar with. Hello, everyone, again, 97.7 The Zone.
Very cool. And all the joking aside, very cool. I've heard a lot of great stuff from people back home that are very happy.
I'm
to be
glad
able to
they're
hear from
happy.
you
I'm
guys,
glad
so.
they're excited. We are going to get to meet another friend of the Grum of the day
Nice.
later on.
Nice.
It's a good bit.
It almost became a tragic bit last night.
Oh, no.
I'll explain when we get there.
Mm.
The Grum Down. It is big game feels in the Tum Tum Eve.
You got the big game feels in your tum-tum?
I always have big game feels in my tum-tum.
Always?
Always.
That is the one
just ready
thing
for it.
I don't miss
Maybe
about
some Pepto.
being not in the tournament this year is I don't have the big game feels.
Mm.
Yeah, you get to watch from afar for the first time in a while.
sit back and just say, I don't care.
I don't care.
You're going to get the big game feels in your tum-tum in Las Vegas in a couple weeks, though.
Whoa,
Sure.
big crown guy.
The big
Sure.
crown feels.
Big crown guy.
We are going to pick my smart bracket. I'm a guy. Listen,
I'm a
this
one
whole
seed.
idea of people sticking their nose in the air, you should only do one bracket. Hell no. Do you, when you buy a Powerball, do you buy one Powerball or do you buy multiple numbers?
I've never bought a Powerball.
Yeah, I only get one.
All right, well, fine.
You're asking the wrong folk.
Most people,
I can't afford that. That's a luxury, John.
Yeah,
We're
see,
Gen Z.
but all my brackets that I've turned in so far, and I've only turned in 3. They're all just based on vibes.
I
right?
do listen. The vibe bracket is the best type of bracket.
Right. But today I want to, I've handpicked a few games
Okay.
that I want to analyze. We'll go over in each region and we'll pick my smart bracket. This is the
Okay.
one where my intelligence reputation is on the line.
I like
The rest of them don't count.
I like
But
to
if
do
I win, I'll still claim the credit.
I like to do mascot brackets. Those are my favorite ones, just because I like the idea of a Trojan fighting a peacock.
Ooh. I just based mine off of how I felt about their college football team like 10 years ago. So I just usually
That's
go off
fair.
of those
That's
vibes.
probably a good one. Steve Sipple, who could not be here yesterday, will be here today.
He's trying to run away from me. I still caught him.
He says, HuskerOnline.com. Mike Farron will join us today.
Yes.
Baseball?
Baseball.
Tovar, Ezekiel Tovar of your Colorado Rockies and Venezuelan baseball
Don't
team.
point at me and say your. That is not mine.
And
I do not
still
affiliate
your
with that.
Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, listen, Central Nebraska does not claim the Rockies.
I mean, they might as well.
Most of
why?
It's their
Just-
closest MLB team.
No, it's just the closest place they can go to watch their real favorite MLB team.
I do love Coors Field.
But Farron will join us today as Venezuela gets the dub and wins the WBC. Nebrasketball. Oh,
is it?
What are we
Is it on
doing?
Big Ten Network?
What the hell? No.
Where is it?
It is on ESPN Plus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on a good network.
Oh, they never put the Big Ten on ESPN.
Well,
Plus.
that's because it's at Wichita State, which is not famously of the Big Ten.
Except when they do, and then the Big Ten upsets the SEC because the SEC is overrated.
Bum, bum, bum.
Now I got to see all these damn remotes. It's just so confusing. Yeah, we got live Nebrasketball here this afternoon.
I love Nebrasketball.
And they've won 10 in a row. If they win today, it would be 11 in a row. That's
bonkers.
called a winning streak.
And it might be like a home atmosphere there.
I am kind of
find out.
curious to see if the folks that are headed down to Oklahoma City decided to take a quick stop in Wichita.
Is it? It's an ESPN Plus, not a Big Ten Plus? game?
Well, it's at Wichita.
Oh, you're right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, the Big Ten wants to take over the world. They have
I
not
know.
yet taken over Wichita.
I am pretty Big Ten plus pilled that every time I'm looking for like an offshoot game, I just
Yeah.
immediately go to Big Ten.
Whoa,
plus.
look at this. It's already 3-0 in the top of the first.
Holy
Nice.
cow. Bolt ball at its finest.
They are on
Thank
a
you, Will
roll
Bolt.
with butter. Again, the friend of the program
Oh,
of the
4-0.
day. Don't click the link. Oh, it's already a good sign. Look at that.
2 out, bottom of the fourth,
Got
1
quite a few folks in red there in the stands. They're at Gene Stevenson Stadium or Gene Stevenson Field.
Oh no.
Oh.
As soon as we flipped. Oh no.
Oh, is he
Oh,
going
that's
for
a-
it? No.
It's
That'd be
just first to
silly.
third, just first to third. It's Dumb Debates Day.
Oh,
I'm
is.
very excited about dumb debates.
Dumb debates. Send in your dumb debates. Use the hashtag if you're on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Hashtag dumb debates. Send us your dumb debates. Or you can email your dumb debates into the Equitable Bank Zone inbox at Equitable. We take banking personally and answer the phone on the first ring. Did you know that Equitable Bank has locations in both Omaha and Grand Island?
Whoa.
John at 1620thezone.com. Or, well, I mean, I guess you could call Nick with a dumb debate, but then we would have to like dictate it and write it down.
Or
But-
you could email me your dumb debate, Nick at 1620thezone.com.
Well, I was using the calling portion to
Gotcha.
promote the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline 402-951-1620. Would you drive an hour to taunt a coach you hate?
Oh yeah, I've done it before.
Only an hour?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was only an
100%.
hour.
Yeah, no, I do
and-
that easily.
Will Big Ten baseball be over by the College World Series?
Oh
No, John, it's inevitable.
This is very baseball pilled show today. I do like this.
Well, it's kind of. I mean, it's,
Josh
it's,
isn't
it's,
here.
it's
We
pretty
get
much
to.
baseball and basketball.
that is true.
Josh
People
isn't
forget.
ruling with an iron fist. No baseball.
That's right. Are we talking no football today? Whoa.
I mean,
Can we go a full Grum with no football?
Well, I mean, you just talked about it, so thanks for ruining the streak.
Ah, dang it. My bad. Sorry.
I don't know. I guess we might find out.
I guess we'll try. We'll do our darndest.
We'll see.
To respect Nebraska baseball and Nebrasketball, we should not talk about football.
2 very good teams
Mhm.
next to an otherwise not very good team.
I would just say another program. You know, just give them their
Legally a
kudos.
football program.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
0-2 start's
you're
going to
right.
hit hard.
Oh, jeez.
What?
Wow. Hey, we said we weren't talking football, Nick.
How do you know I wasn't talking about anything else?
It wasn't rifle.
Well,
They're wagon.
Nebraska basketball cannot start 0-2 at the NCAA tournament. There's not a double elimination. So,
God, how many wins would they have if there were? That's a good question.
double elimination?
Yeah.
Well, what are they, 0-8 now?
Mhm.
Be 0-16.
Wow, John. Wow. This
spot
guy
the
hates
line.
Nebraska.
We'll spot the line. Thankfully, it's not double elimination.
Yes.
This is not the Big Ten baseball tournament. 402-951-1620. Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Glad to have you with us. You're gonna help me help you. Help you help me. You help me help me.
Get through the
My
jersey.
bracket.
Oh, that too.
I want to I'll go region by region. We'll start with the South. We'll start with Nebraska's region.
Whoa.
We'll start with Nebraska's region. Got a handful of games we want to help with. This is my smart bracket. I want to be as smart as I possibly can be so I can
SMRT.
finish like 1,867th out of 2.3 million brackets
Yeah, get Shaka smart with that thing.
on the ESPN bracket challenge. That's the Grum. Glad you could be with us. It's a beautiful day outside. Absolutely gorgeous. And it's only going to get warmer all weekend long on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
Big names dominate HVAC, but Titanium HVAC offers top service without the hefty price. With spring checks under $99, ensure your comfort and peace of mind. Discover the difference with Titanium HVAC in Omaha. Visit titaniumomaha.com today, a Carrier dealer.
College hoops fever is here, and Wine, Beer, and Spirits brings the celebration to the bar. From March 17th through April 6th, enjoy 99-cent 16-ounce drafts of Michelob Ultra, Busch Light, and Coors Light. Wine, Beer, and Spirits, where the buzzer beaters are loud and the drafts are just 99 cents.
Nebrasketball's up 4-0 on Wichita State. It looks like there's a few Nebraska fans there at Gene Stevenson Field. Oh, looks like it's 5-0 now.
Wow. Could be a short day in Wichita for some Husker fans.
And misfire there. So
this is actually like the best case scenario if Nebraska continues on their successes they're doing, because then not only if you chose to go to the Wichita game, you then can get to Oklahoma City a little bit earlier.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, this is this last game of the series. So once it's over, you could be in Oklahoma City by late dinner time.
How far is it from Wichita to Oklahoma City?
About 3-ish hours.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
About 3. Or if you're smart, you just stay in Wichita and eat at Spangles.
Whoa, big Spangles guy.
Oh, love Spangles.
You love getting Spangled?
That's why we call him Mr. Spangle.
Love Spangles. Question.
Yes.
With tomorrow's game, 11:40 tip, I was listening to young Matt today, and one of the callers called in and just said how huge this game is, not just for the basketball program, but just for the university at large. I mean, football, we all know what happened at the end of that season. Volleyball ended with a thud.
Yep.
And with how many good vibes, and dare I say surprising good vibes, nobody had Nebraska going 20 out of their first 20.
That is true.
That have been built up through this season. That the university, the Husker athletic department needs this win tomorrow badly because of the other previous disappointments. Not to mention the fact that, yes, it would get the monkey off your back and the scarlet letter, pardon the expression.
So you kind of want the scarlet letter on you.
Well, the scarlet letter
Nebraska's
of being
case.
the only power program to not have a tournament win, that would finally be gone.
Right.
Certainly just from the basketball perspective, that's huge.
Yeah.
But bigger picture for the athletic department, this is a badly needed win because imagine the scenario if they were to lose. It'd be a 9th straight loss. You wouldn't get the monkey off your back. And Nebraska's not been in this position since the height of the Danny Nee era. Because you go back, the Tim Miles team, that was what seed were they? 10 seed. I think they were 10 seed against Baylor.
10 or 11, something like that.
And against Texas A&M, that was a 9-8 game, right?
Yep.
So
they were the 9.
Nebraska's not been in a position where they've been clearly the higher seeded team in 30 years. And so you've got that disappointment of, oh my God, this was it. It was sitting right out there in front of you. And it would just be, it'd be like the peanut on top of the poop sundae.
Well, not only on that note,
if they don't win for the athletic department.
And I hadn't thought of this until you brought this up, but I don't think he needs this, but this would be the first time that Troy Dannon would actually get some justification in some of his decisions, right? In hiring and extending. Because Hoiberg clearly deserved the extension that he got.
Absolutely.
20 straight wins, everything.
Win or lose tomorrow, that extension was deserved.
But you get, again, you said monkey off your back with the NCAA tournament win. So far, and again, this is super hyperbolic. I mean, we are stretching this through the Laffy Taffy machine the furthest we can with this type of argument. But you hire Danny Busboom Kelly to replace John Cook, and that was more handpicked, that sort of thing. It was obviously the right choice. You were the #1 overall team. Everything worked. You were unbeaten going into the Elite Eight, and you happened to kind of fall flat, obviously, at home against Texas A&M. So you don't match the standard of what the program was hoping to or exceed where the standard had been before.
That was the team that was supposed to win the whole thing.
Yes, and handily. They were supposed to take care of their business. Obviously, football has not had the success that they had wanted, but yet you are still extending a head coach. That's a conversation for a different time.
Yeah, different circumstances.
And then Amy Williams, obviously, is in a play-in game today, which, regardless of kind of what happens with Nebraska women's basketball, there is still, I would say, maybe growing uncertainty, with where they are, especially with where their season was to where it had finished out. This is your one concrete chance to say, Troy, you got it right against Troy. That's what you want, right? If you're Dannon, you want at least one fundamental piece just to say, yes, this extension, trusting Hoiberg, everything that's been included since that moment, this has been the right choice for sure. You need a win. You need a win.
Yeah, I was thinking of it, and I'm not disagreeing. I was thinking of it more just from the overall psyche, and I realize a lot of Nebraska fans, they are, most of them are football fans first, and then everything else kind of trickles from there. Obviously, because of the success of volleyball, you've got people who are hardcore volleyball and probably identify as strongly as volleyball fans as they do as football fans, some maybe even more. It's a smaller percentage of people who identify as Nebraska basketball fans first.
Yep.
A lot of their fan base is, again, and there's nothing wrong with this, by the way. This is the way it is. It's the same at a lot of other schools. But if you are a fan who lives and dies with everything that wears the scarlet and cream, I would have to think that winning tomorrow, given the historical significance of what is at stake, given the way that this season kind of sprang about, given how this team has gelled, how this team represents itself. I was thinking about this last night on the drive home. There's not really any dislikable people.
Yeah.
In the basketball program. There's not that person, I get, Casey was a very popular figure around here, but to people on other teams or to fan bases on other teams, maybe sometimes he was a little, showboaty, there was the famous picture of him flipping people off. And I'm not here to say that Casey Tominaga was this hated figure.
It was his perception outside of the program. Right. Yeah.
But there hasn't been, I guess maybe the better term is the big personality that can make themselves an easy target for drawing ire and drawing dislike. If Nebraska goes on a run in this tournament, I don't sense there's going to be a lot of people saying, "Good, that Hoiberg kid, or rink mass." Oh God, no, because there's just a lot of even keel, just good personalities on this team who are not, flashy, showy, anything like that. So it's a very likable team. Very likable team. Because of that, and all of those other factors, I think a win tomorrow could almost cleanse all of the other ill feelings that have washed over Nebraska fans since the start of this sports calendar year.
Yeah.
Going back to last fall, the start of volleyball, the start of football.
Well, and I think there's also a part of it too, where if you are the diehard Nebrasketball pilled fan, you want this season and everything that's happened up to this moment to matter, right? Like,
absolutely.
You want the 20-0 start. You want the highest ranking in AP poll history for the program. You want the amount of wins that the program has now matched and hopes to exceed. But if Nebraska does lose on Thursday, it would feel hollow, right? Like none of it feels like we had all these things happen. And these are some things that haven't happened with a lot of other programs, but some other programs have that one thing that we still don't. And you want this season as a whole to match how you feel about what the season was, where it finished. No matter where it finishes, you have a certain feeling about it, regardless, whether you are, if you're a true fan and you're like, I think this team can make it an Elite Eight run. If that's how you feel, you want it to match that feeling, right? So no matter what, if they don't reach there, you'd be disappointed.
Yeah.
And I would say probably 99% of the fan base that is true Nebrasketball fans, like you had said, or true University of Nebraska athletics fans would say this season just has to matter. So we have to get this one tomorrow.
Right. No, you're right. And let's face it, you're a 4 seed.
Yeah.
You're supposed to win tomorrow.
12.5 points say you're supposed to win.
You're supposed to win tomorrow. So, but again, because of everything that has transpired and how monumental this game feels. I mean, I saw people comparing it, I don't remember who said it, but someone said something about, this is our Super Bowl. You're talking about a first round game in the NCAA tournament as a 4 seed. Now, to a lot of other people who are outside of this area, they're going to look at that and go, really?
Yeah.
But if you're here and you've experienced it and you're aware of the history and you're aware of, the barbs that have been thrown your way, yeah, it is. It really is. It really is like a Super Bowl, just winning this one game. Now, that's a fan way to think. That's outsiders' way to think. That is not a program way to think. Obviously, Fred Hoiberg's not thinking, man, we got to win this game or else,
Yeah.
No, they're thinking, hey, we're a really good basketball team. We've got a really good resume. We should be able to go on a run and win multiple games. But winning this game tomorrow has been the thing that this program has pointed towards for a long time, a very long time. And someone that can relate, because I grew up, I was around here during the Danny Nee run. Yes, it was disappointing that they lost the game, but the tournament was still in that position where it was still a growing event. It was becoming the cultural icon that we know it today. Believe it or not, back in the 80s, we didn't fill out brackets. That didn't become a thing until the 90s.
But what'd you do with all the 64 spots?
At one point, it was only 48 spots.
What?
But then, so getting that monkey off your back wasn't a huge deal. Right. That didn't become a thing until you crossed over into this century. And then, of course, Nebraska went many years without going to a tournament. And then when they finally did, then all of a sudden this idea of, we got to win this. I think especially, was it Northwestern?
Yes.
See, Northwestern was the last team that was crossed off the list.
Yep. That's when it became more and more notable.
And that's when everybody started to say, oh, look, these guys have never won a tournament game before.
Yeah.
Which is why it is such a big deal. And there will be cause for celebration. There will be cause for, just it'll take a lot. I think of it, it's a different perspective, but for the longest time for Creighton, it was getting to the second weekend, because they had won tournament games, but they had never crossed that threshold of getting 2 wins and getting to the second weekend. And so every year that they would get to the tournament, it is, well, can they make the second weekend? Just winning one wasn't enough. Different program, different expectations, different, historical whatever. But that's where Nebraska is. This is that roadblock. This is that mental block. This is that end all be all that's just been like hanging over you like an albatross.
Yeah. That
you want to let go. And that's why I believe it can transcend the Husker fan and say, man, I know our volleyball team let us down. I know the football let us down. But this maybe makes up for it.
Interesting thought. Yeah. I mean, I think, like, personally, I think that there's like the different segments of Nebraska fans in which you talked about. Like, there's always and forever going to only be football fans. And there were always, I think volleyball has grown itself in such a way too, and especially to the female fan as well. I can speak, Dr. Fiance does not care about any other Husker program except for volleyball. Like, she bleeds for the red of volleyball.
And there's a whole generation that has grown up that way, which
100%.
is totally different from how I grew up, where everything was football, 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 football. Well, the success of volleyball created that.
Yeah.
They created those people who are like, no, I only identify with this program.
But I am curious to know, just to your point too, that, whenever that pops off, the top that is this, volcanic eruption that could be that first NCAA tournament win, if it is this year's team, I'm beyond excited, hopefully in 24 hours, that we are continuing to talk about how far this team can go, because there is almost that reservation of like, well, you have to get through the first one. And I mean, we're talking about it right now, right? Like, and I don't want to make this a J-Skirt type of attitude or anything like that, but when Creighton has been a high seed, if they had been a 4 or in previous iterations, right, it was never about getting past the first game. It was how far can they go?
Correct.
And instead, this Nebrasketball conversation is so conserved because it's, well, they have to get the first one. It's not about how far they can go.
No.
Very, very rarely in this past 4 days have I been able to look at any bracket conversation or anything that has Nebraska even talking about who their second round opponent would be, let alone how they match up with a 1.
Even though they're a 4.
I mean,
and they're supposed to be in the next round.
They are the only 4 seed that is looking at this first round game as biblically as anyone in the country should be.
Absolutely.
Right? And like, Kansas isn't. Arkansas is not doing that. Alabama is not doing those things. But Nebraska is. So for better or worse, their hyperfixation with this, either as the program, which I agree with you. I don't think they're the program. I don't think Price Sanford is out at shoot around earlier today just being like,
no,
it's first one. Got to get the first. I don't think that they're worried about that. But I would be very, very excited to see how that fan base just erupts, because after that first one, the sky is the limit. And you said it too. You get that first one, even thinking down the line, next year, future seasons of the program, you finally can get that burden off and say, what is the capability of our program?
Right.
Because that's been the long-standing issue with Nebraska basketball. They were underfunded. They're never supposed to compete with football's popularity. They're never going to be up there with where football and where Nebraska is. It's just not a priority to Nebraskans. I'll tell you what, I cover a lot of high school sports. Basketball is becoming a really big deal in this state. And especially in this city, it has become a bigger and bigger deal. And of course, there was a conversation a few years ago about keeping the in-state talent local.
Yep.
That local talent's now playing pretty well. And some of those kids do want to go to Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I think that all just encapsulates how we feel about tomorrow. And if they get past that, I think it all just grows and grows and grows.
The best analogy, and I don't know if this works for a lot of folks, but maybe if you're my age, it does. Where you would go to the arcade, you play these video games. Yes, there used to be a thing when you played video games, you had to go to this place called an arcade.
Those still exist.
Quarters in a machine.
I was at one last weekend.
The arcade too.
But you would play this game and you would always get to that level and you'd get beat at that level.
Yeah, mine was
and
the
you were
castle.
like,
Crash Bandicoot 1.
I can't get past this level. And that's where Nebraska basketball is. They're waiting to get past that level. And then the time you finally did it, you were like, oh, this is what it looks like.
Yes.
And you're playing, you almost feel like you're playing with house money.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like, oh, I got past the thing that's always been bothering me all these years. Now what do I do?
Yeah,
I'm just going to go out and have fun.
Exactly. You play lose. You're like, oh, it doesn't matter how many lives I have left. I got past that. Yeah, no, that's a great example. Yeah.
Jacob writes on the YouTube comment section,
hey, Jacob.
If they win, it makes up for everything that has happened in Nebraska sports this year. Lose, and it might be the biggest gut punch of the century.
I disagree with the biggest gut punch. I think it's just a series of body blows. I don't know if it hurts that much,
I mean, the volleyball one this year is a pretty big gut.
That was a gut
when
punch.
you think about it. When you think about how that team was talked about and how it was inevitable, and then not to even make it to the Final Four.
Yes.
And
Correct.
to lose at home in the way that they did.
Correct. Yes.
Was like, I mean, that's a huge gut punch. I'm not disagreeing. Would it be a gut punch? Absolutely, it would. I mean, if you want to know what Jack Mitchell would look like tomorrow if they lose, think of the Ralph Wiggum episode in Simpsons where, Lisa breaks his heart and then Bart goes back and says, you can even see the point where his heart breaks. That's what it will look like. Jack would look like Ralph Wiggum.
Jack is actually the greatest epitome of this entire conversation, right? That if things do not go well tomorrow, the bemoaning and groaning of what is does actually asphyxiate into all of the other sports.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes like a long, man, what am I doing wrong? As a fan, why can't any of these things just
why
be
is this happening to me?
Exactly.
I don't understand. All right, we're going to pick my brackets. I do have my Final Four teams. Well, I have 3 of my Final Four teams selected. So we're going to start backwards, but then we're going to look at the South region because there are a handful of games tomorrow and Friday that I'm a little fuzzy on. So we're going to try to pick my smart bracket before we end this show today. Still to come, Steve Sipple joins us later in the hour. Also, Mike Farron will join us next hour as we are down to it. It's big game feels in the Tum Tum Eve, Nebraska ball fan, on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. It's now 5-0 Nebraska over Wichita State in the bottom of the third. They still have not shown any wide shots of the crowd there at Gene Stevenson Field. So I don't know what the population of baseball fans are.
There's a good dotting of red.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a fine woman getting a beer from her man's. Oh no, she handed it off to the jean-wearing man.
This is this is one of the first college ballparks I can remember that did serve beer.
Well, what else is there going on in Wichita?
No,
I bet there's disc golf. There's a lot of disc golf in Kansas.
Not everywhere is big on the frolf, right?
Yeah, but Kansas is big. They have
Are they?
Yeah, they have pro events there. Big disc golf place.
It's because it's so windy.
It's the Omaha Food Fight presented by Union Bank and Trust. Round of 64 is underway. The field cuts in half. First round voting ends today. Today's the last day for first round voting, and then the second round voting begins until the end of the weekend. You vote now at 1620thezone.com for your favorite restaurant. See if they advance to the round of 32. I have not looked at the restaurants yet in the Omaha Food Fight presented by Union Bank and Trust. I should do that during the break. But first, it's time to start picking my smart bracket. This is the bracket that I'm going to submit to the ESPN Tournament Challenge. And this will be the one I brag on. And when I say brag on, not much. But as any smart bracketeer should do, you start backwards. You pick your final four teams first. And I have come up. This is my pool. This is my pool of teams. Take down the jail bars. These are the pool of teams that I am considering for the Final Four, and only these 8 teams.
Okay.
Everybody else. So, no, I'm not picking any teams deep in the field.
I do not see Nebraska on there.
Well, no, they're not.
Whoa.
Because these are the teams that have the net rating of 31 or greater. This is the most teams that have had a net rating. This is the difference between their offensive rating and defensive rating. These are the most number of teams above 30 in the Ken Pom era in one season. And I've even chopped a couple of teams off the bottom of this. So I have already filled in for my Final Four. Duke out of the East, Florida out of the South, Arizona out of the West. The Midwest, however, I have not.
I'm surprised you went chalk with Duke.
I like Duke.
We call him Chalk John for a reason.
Interesting.
I like Duke. I don't think this year's UConn team is as talented as the two that won the title.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be Michigan State.
Dan Hurley's going to be pissed at you.
Dang. Join the club.
I mean, Kansas certainly has the talent.
Right.
But they've also been a bit inconsistent.
You don't think St. John's defense they get that far, given
No.
issue? Okay. I mean,
No.
you have seen them in person. So
I have seen St. John's and UConn both in person. No, I don't.
It just feels like so many obstacles for Duke to have to overcome. That's
does.
what
It does.
gets me. That
It
I'd
does.
rather take the field than the one. But yeah, I mean,
Duke,
if you're gonna,
Duke is really, really good.
they are.
I think Florida is clearly the best team in the South.
I'd agree.
Arizona might be the best team going right now. I'm not. Purdue, great run in the tournament. I get it, but people forget they didn't end the season particularly well.
Yeah, I'm not Purdue pilled. I'm anti-Purdue. And when you have them in that top 8 graphic that you just posted, I understand that like their metrics and their ratings and stuff, but they lost games that you just cannot feel comfortable with, I think.
Gonzaga doesn't have enough of the guard play that I'm looking for.
And they're Gonzaga.
So I really like Arizona. But yes, the Midwest is where so listen, if you would have asked me Thanksgiving weekend, I would have had Michigan winning this region and in the other 3 regions as well.
Okay.
I would have had them just filling the entire field because I saw them in person against Gonzaga. It was the most impressive performance I have seen this year. But they've been a little leaky down the stretch. It's still a good team.
Leaky.
They just look a little leaky. And maybe this is me because I've seen them 3 times. I'm a little Iowa State pill.
Okay. Yep.
Clones.
I'm a little Iowa State pill.
So that makes sense. I follow.
So to help me, I'm down to Michigan and Iowa State. This is, again, just the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down to Michigan and Iowa State. Who should I take?
I'm with you that I've been like Iowa State pill this entire year. I've been following them. I think that they've been fantastic, even since the Creighton exhibition loss that people forget about, right? Michigan has been one of the more dominant teams all season long.
Right.
And yes, I understand that they have been like league year at different points. Some of their losses are a little bit that Wisconsin loss too. I remember it being so jarring because if you remember, they were coming off of like 3 straight 40+ wins.
Right. And Wisconsin, it wasn't the Wisconsin we've seen recently.
Correct. And so I think that kind of sticks in people's jaw a little bit longer. I think Michigan walks through better than any of the other 1 seeds in any of the brackets. I think that they just walk through this entire region. And I'm not in love with where Iowa State potentially could be matching up to. I think the Tennessee one's a little bit tricky. And I think Kentucky might. I don't think Kentucky will beat them, but I think it could show off a little bit more of some of the warts that we've seen from the clones at different times.
Man, that means I've got an all number 1 seed Final Four.
I know, and nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that, but you know what? Sometimes you just... So I'll go with Michigan.
Well, let me ask you this then. Let me help you out. Did you feel like this was a top-heavy season of college basketball?
Absolutely it was.
Then yes, then you are rightfully so. And this is the conversation we've been having all year, right? Like it's been Arizona, Michigan.
Yeah.
Sometimes Iowa State got thrown in there too, but it really was the top 2.
Right.
Duke had been like, okay, well, if the ACC was better, we judge you differently. And then, I mean, on the opposite side, I feel like Florida is the quietest one of all of them, right?
Yeah.
And Florida is essentially kind of the SEC wagon once again. And yeah, they didn't make the SEC final by any means, but I would feel confident in saying, okay, of all of them so far, like I just mentioned, I think Michigan would be like my number 1 going all the way through.
Okay.
I feel good about Florida at 2. I really do.
All right.
I just don't trust Arizona.
All right. So there's the Final Four. Now focusing in on the South. Obviously I got Florida winning this week. I said yesterday, you can turn the upset alert off. Nebraska's winning. Vandy is winning.
Okay.
And Planet Houston is winning. But all of the other games, I'm a little up in the air. We'll start with the 8-9 game, Clemson and Iowa.
Okay.
First off, if you're betting this game, take the under.
Why is that?
Well, Clemson's got number 2 scoring defense, and Iowa is slow.
Yes. It is going to be literally the slowest game in history. They should shorten this game frame down. Like 30 minutes.
Clemson was only 14th in the ACC in scoring. They did lose 5 of their last 7. Iowa is a team where I'm like, I don't think they should be as good as they are, but yet here they are.
That sounds like Iowa just in general.
I personally think you should go with Iowa here.
Of course you do. They forced turnovers on 21% of opponents' possessions, but they're not good on the offensive glass. And defensively, even though they play slow and the score is low, they haven't been great defensively. It's just that the pace is so slow, the possessions are down. And am I banking on Bennett Sturts to be Bennett Sturts?
Notably great Iowa Hawkeye, right? Sturts. Listen, everything that you're saying is correct, and I'm a firm believer. This is Iowa football. This is Iowa basketball. The less your opponent can touch the ball, the better off a chance you have of winning, because they did it against Nebraska at home, but can you travel and can it apply to other teams that you are playing? I haven't seen as much Clemson in, obviously through their ACC season and everything, but we just mentioned the ACC was not necessarily up to its snuff like we had considered it to be. I think Iowa not necessarily walks, but I think they control this game, and I do think that they win that one over Clemson.
All right, fine. I'm taking Iowa.
Bang.
I'm taking Iowa.
Go Hawks.
Next game on the docket in the South, North Carolina and VCU. I mean, the rumblings are there. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if Hubert Davis doesn't get the Tar Heels into the second weekend, you wonder if folks might be getting a little impatient.
Right.
Caleb Wilson has been out. He's been their team's best defender. They're not great from 3. They don't shoot free throws very well. According to Bart Torvik, they were only the 49th best team over the last month of the season. Meanwhile, VCU, they're a team that lives on the 3. Hill and Tracy and Lewis are all 35% or better from 3. But unlike North Carolina, who doesn't shoot free throws well, VCU, 23% of their points come from the free throw line. So they're going to have to depend on a happy whistle.
Yep.
Are they going to be able to get a happy whistle against North Carolina? They're also very, very dribble happy. Not a lot of assists on their field goals, right? So it's a lot of one-on-one stuff. I'm leaning North Carolina.
Ooh, see, I would actually lean VCU.
Really?
It's a 2.5-point favorite for North Carolina, which that line is incredibly close for two teams that are that far apart in terms of their distance, and
it is
where their program should be. Caleb Wilson's huge, obviously. I mean, no one needs to hear me say that, oh, you lose Caleb Wilson, that's going to be a bad deal. Rebounding is a really big deal when you get into March. And North Carolina, I think, is in closer to like the 100s. And
now VCU's not great rebounding either.
No, but I feel like every single time I've turned on a North Carolina game, it feels like they're just getting outboarded every single like which way and every single angle.
So you think I should go with the Rams here?
I think it's a VCU pick. If you feel more confident,
they are the Rams.
Yeah, so
that's a great pick.
Would you rather heels?
The Rams beating a team from North Carolina?
How dare you?
In the calendar year 2026?
Take that back.
You know what? I'm taking VCU. Now, normally,
how did that turn into a dig at me?
Believe it or not, I have Illinois and Penn on my list here.
Oh,
I'm not sold on Illinois right now. Illinois is just 4-5 in their last 9 games.
Okay.
They're only hitting 23% of their threes in the last 12 games.
Notably cold.
That's a long period to be that cold from 3.
Yeah.
And this team appears to be kind of weak against teams that have good guard play and or a good stretch 4-5. Well, guess who Fran's best player is on Penn? TJ Power. Had 44 in the Ivy League final. Penn was top 20 in threes this year. It's a Fran McCaffrey team. They're going to shoot damn lot of threes.
Right.
And they're going to get their leading scorer back, probably, Ethan Roberts. He missed the Ivy League tournament with a concussion. That's why I'm thinking if there's a double-digit upset, a real double-digit upset to be had, I'm looking at Penn.
Okay, so let me... the real question
talk me off my ledge.
You want me to talk you off Penn? I guess the only question I really have is...
Or do you want to talk me to Penn?
Do you really think that Fran McCaffrey and everything that he, is familiar with the Big Ten and he knows some of these schools and stuff, does that actually apply to Illinois? Because it doesn't necessarily, right? He never faced this version of Illinois. He's faced Underwood type programs and such, but this Illinois team is not one that he had faced and one that he maybe has schemes and such for. I'm not saying that Underwood completely changed everything that he did, obviously, in this season. I don't think Illinois is going to live and die by the 3 necessarily either, but I'm not going to listen. If you want to take a double-digit upset, you are rightfully so.
I mean, that would put an 11 versus a 14.
That would be true.
All right, fine.
Do you like that?
I'll go with Illinois.
Oh man, I'm talking you off of every ledge. It feels
no, not necessarily.
You talk yourself into the Rams.
The final game of this first round in the South: St. Mary's, Texas A&M. St. Mary's top 15 defense over the last month. They've been good both offensively and defensively in terms of rebounds. 39% from 3. They lead the nation in free throw percentage. Now, the bad part is they've only faced one other tournament team other than Gonzaga and Santa Clara, who they are in the West Coast Conference with, and that was Vandy, and Vandy blew their doors off back in November. And they've only had one Sweet 16 in 11 March Madness trips under Randy Bennett. A&M, meantime, pretty decent three-point shooting team. You got Rashawn Agee, who is like 84 years old. He's been there. He's been in college basketball forever. I think he's truly a 7th-year senior. But they're not very big. They're not very big, and their defense is suspect. They've allowed 80 points a game.
Right. But they get out and run. I mean,
they will run.
They'll get out and score. So do you like offense or defense more, John? That's really the question.
I'm a defense guy.
Then you got to go St. Mary's.
Then I'm going St. Mary's. I'm going St. Mary's.
And you know what? I hate that because I feel like Texas A&M is going to win it. But if you're a defensive guy, you have to lean that way because they've got the size, they've got the defensive side. But if A&M gets out, much like Nebraska saw a couple years ago, and they just out-athlete you, that could be a much different story, obviously, for the Gales.
All right, well, that's the South. We'll look at the other 3 regions a little bit later on in the Grum. Steve Sipple's still coming up as well here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct and the 1620 The Zone radio network. But coming up next, we're going to meet some of our new friends of the program of the day.
Whoa.
We're going out to your part of the country,
Let's go.
Central Nebraska.
Have they heard of the Mall of America?
I don't know. What's the mall in Grand Island?
Oh, it's closed.
Oh, well, then they probably
tore
have
it down, yeah.
They're probably like, mall, what the hell is that? I'll tell you what the hell is up, though, and that is the Underdog Fantasy app. Just in time for the tournament of great significance. You know the upsets are coming. You know that there's going to be opportunities for big moments, and Underdog is the best place to get in on the action. You can make picks and win money all across Nebraska. And playing is so easy. Just pick whether your favorite or maybe least favorite players go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. And if you get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. And right now, if you use our promo code at sign up when you download the Underdog app, you can get some bonus plays and get you off to a great start. So download Underdog today. Use our promo code 1620thezone to score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code 1620thezone. With Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit ncpgambling.org.
Hello, Tri-Cities! Unsportsmanlike conduct has a new home in central Nebraska. We welcome all of our new friends of the program while also introducing the fine but geographically challenged folks from Omaha to our new radio neighbors. You see, to many of us from the Big O, everything west of Gretna is western Nebraska. Except, strangely, Lincoln, whom we look at like our ugly, unwanted stepbrother. Now, let's get to know some of the folks in our new listening audience. It's the Friends of the Program of the Day on 1620 The Zone and the all-new 97.7 The Zone.
So,
yes, we do.
Austin, have you ever been curious as, like, when we have an open, whether I made the open or John made the open?
I just assume you usually make them.
Can you tell that John made that open?
It's a great open.
It's a very John-pilled open.
I don't know why this has to be some kind of a contest. I am trying to reach out to an olive branch to our new friends in central Nebraska, or as the graphic says, western Nebraska, because we are geographically illiterate here in Omaha. And that is something that will relate to the people of central Nebraska. I can promise you.
Okay.
Sure. Austin, did you feel related
They're
to
not going to be
open?
able to relate to your butthole surfers or whatever stupid music you went to go see in Soldier Field. They're not going to care. They're going to be like, what's this crap? This is acid rock. It turns my kids' brains into mush.
First of all, I saw My Chemical Romance and Devo at Soldier Field.
Oh, Devo.
Incredible combo. And I wish I could see Butthole Surfers. I don't think they exist anymore.
No, that's too bad. They probably got eaten by the sharks. This is the Friends of the Program of the Day. And today we are going just a little bit west of Hastings.
Oh, whoa. Are you going to get this right?
Town called Junietta.
Very good.
I know my Nebraska. It's Hooper, not Hooper.
People forget.
Yes, Junietta, Nebraska is today's Friends of the Program of the Day. What, pray tell, exists in Junietta, Nebraska, you ask?
There's
well,
a feed
I'll tell
tower.
you.
To that.
Well, there is a feed tower, but there is also a place called, and I don't know if it's still there, but I like to look up different places in these towns. And last night I was looking up this place called the Plainsman Steakhouse, and I clicked on the link. And I got a virus on my computer.
No. Did you vote for their podcast?
So no, I did not vote for their podcast, Damon Benning. Don't click the link. It might be a good steakhouse, not a good website. So I had to spend like an hour cleaning crap off the computer. However, there is a place where it was safe to scroll called Michelle's Scrumptious Bakery.
Whoa.
Okay. Michelle's Scrumptious Bakery. Look at some of the things that are on the menu. Homemade breads, homemade pies, cinnamon and pecan rolls.
Whoa.
Cakes, cupcakes. They do the fancy birthday cakes with the real, elaborate, like this one here. For Killian's birthday, it's a farm scene. Look at that. How beautiful that is.
You can only get that in Junietta.
You can only get that at Michelle's Scrumptious Bakery in Junietta, Nebraska. Today's Friend of the Program of the Day.
Yeah, throwing
Junietta.
Yeah, throwing scrumptious into your title is a very good idea.
Also,
and they say they don't market in Central Nebraska.
Also, if you're like me and you want some hot disc golf courses,
oh dear God,
the nearest ones are in Hastings, but you got 3 to choose from, including Lake Hastings, Windmill State Recreation Area, which is Gibbon, and
not Hastings.
Libs Park Disc Golf Course.
Oh,
well, that's your favorite place, isn't it?
I love Libs Park.
Yeah, they're going to be closing that place down at some point.
Also, the Hastings Elks Country Club.
Very nice.
Central Community College on their Hastings campus.
One of the few roundabouts in central Nebraska is actually right outside of Junietta, leading you directly to Adams Central High School.
What an interesting place for a roundabout.
I bet that was confusing.
It is very...
I remember when roundabouts came to Lincoln. Very confusing.
I have seen one of many semi-tip over trying to go around that roundabout because it's right off of the highway, I believe 6, and does get you every single time.
Roundabout, what is this? Yes? That was a joke for you, John.
God.
Rip.
We have another place now to visit when we go to Central Nebraska. We must take a visit and get something delicious at Michelle's Scrumptious Bakery.
Nick in the chat says he got his wedding cake from the Scrumptious Bakery.
That's awesome.
There you go.
That's
See,
incredible.
we are joining hands. We are finding commonality. See, Omaha's not its own state like a lot of people think it is. We're all one big happy family now brought together by the Michelle's Scrumptious Bakery Zone Radio Network.
Wow. This is listen,
wonderful.
this is incredible.
Yep.
My like heart has grown 3 times in size, much like the space of Central Nebraska. This is very good. I just can't wait until you hit all the other great places like Gibbon. Maybe you'll get into Broken Bow.
Oh, we'll get to them all.
I can't wait.
We're getting to them all.
Will you make an appearance at Nebraska's big rodeo?
I don't.
In Burwell?
Where's the?
Are they in our
proximity of
listening
Burwell?
area?
Yeah, is Burwell within our radius?
I mean,
of
everything's in your
97.7
radius.
The Zone?
You guys, come on. This is the internet. Central Nebraska has internet, guys.
If
Come on.
Burwell
I'm just
isn't in
saying.
our radius, we don't care.
Wow, you're not going to Nebraska's big rodeo?
Well, it's got to be within the range of our
Yeah,
radius.
we only
That's
care
insane.
about our people.
We
You
must
guys are mean.
expand our horizons.
No, Burwell is likely not in your listening area. Sorry.
Probably not. Probably not.
But I guarantee most of your listening audience would be going to Nebraska's big rodeo. Be doing their thing out there in Burwell.
I'm trying to remember if I have been to a rodeo.
You ever been to Calamus?
To where?
You ever tanked down the river in
No.
Calamus? No?
No.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
No.
Fine.
We have time to learn.
You guys haven't lived life until you've been to Calamus.
We have time to learn. It's 6-1. Yes, Nebraska gave up a run. Shock, surprise.
Embarrassing.
But they're still up 6-1 on Wichita State in the top of the 5th inning. We'll pick some of the games in the Midwest bracket coming up, but coming up next. Couldn't make it yesterday because he was busy. He was traveling. Apparently not traveling today. Steve Sipple, yes, he's going to actually show up from HuskerOnline.com. He will join Austin and myself next here on the Michelle's Scrumptious Bakery, 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
Sipple the snowflake is one old triggered soul with reading glasses sitting on his nose and takes that really blow. Sipple the snowflake deserves a mouthpiece to the face. He says LeBron's the GOAT and Steph will choke. Then he runs to his safe space. Hey, we gotta be careful here. He tells us when we speak, but when 10 games air in a day, he thinks that's too many.
Oh!
Sipple the snowflake says words like mature. He's a blogger now and an honor too, and also really old.
And gracious enough to join us on a Wednesday. Sip, how was your trip?
Hi, John. It was good.
Good.
Everything's smooth so far, real smooth. Yeah, I got no complaints about it. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind. I'm just kind of kicking my feet up now for the first time since I've been here.
Yeah, getting
Good to hear.
flashbacks of the old days when, traveling to Oklahoma was a regular thing.
Yeah. I mean, we're staying in a hotel where, you were baseball. You followed baseball closely. You remember when Nebraska used to play in the Big 12 tournament?
That was great.
Yeah, when they make those extended runs. And we always stayed in the courtyard right by the arena. And that's where I'm staying right now. I remember one time I wrote 7 straight days of baseball columns.
Which is like a record for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like Buster Olney. Yeah, that was back in the day when they were really rolling,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and then trips down here for football, a lot of trips down here for football. So, yeah, it is kind of strange to be back in this area.
We talked about this earlier, Sip, but the significance of this game, not just on the basketball program, but really for the athletic department. It's been one of those years. Certainly football did not live up to expectation. Volleyball did not live up to expectation. But a win tomorrow, could that erase or at least maybe blur a little bit some of the other disappointments around Nebraska athletics this sports calendar year?
God. Probably depends on your perspective.
Yeah.
I know that Sam Horvath say one win would do it. I always think of these terms, think about these conversations with athletes in mind.
Mm-hmm.
And one win against Troy isn't it's probably not sufficient in the minds of those guys, right? Especially as a 4 seed. Yeah, it would wipe away a lot, though. There'd be a euphoric reaction in the fan base. It's kind of I've always found it to be an awkward conversation. Getting that monkey off your back. You're supposed to win this game.
Yes.
And it's not.
Yes.
It's not like the nation's gonna pause and they're just gonna say, "Oh, great, Nebraska won its first game." Then move on to the other games. You don't want to make it more than it is, or less than it is. For Nebraska, in our little world, it's gigantic.
Yep.
So, but would it erase those disappointments? I have a hard time with that. I think if you got this one and then got another one, and got to the second weekend and then see what happens there, I think it would for sure. It might. I don't know. Kind of hard to say. You got to see how the game goes.
All right, Sip. So you've been down in Oklahoma City now, and you've probably seen the contingent of Husker fans that are making their ways down, if not already there. Has this been? Did you get the feeling, or maybe you've gotten a vibe of it now from the team, or just maybe their perspective on it? Do you feel like the team itself, the Huskers, are recognizing the amount of fan support that'll be down there? Is that even a factor for them, or are they just hyper focused and fixated on kind of what we talked about with the task at hand of getting that first win and obviously battling Troy tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't think they think of it much, and it hasn't presented itself quite yet. I just went down to Bricktown, and there's not much going on at all. I was just walking down that way. I think the fans are on their way right now. Now, I happen to be in a hotel where I don't think there's going to be a lot of fans in this because it's kind of the tournament headquarters type thing, media headquarters, game officials, that sort of thing. But I just did happen to walk down to Bricktown just to get outside, and there wasn't much. I didn't see. I might have saw 5 Nebraska fans. There just wasn't much going. And I'll tell you what, Bricktown's not what it used to be. That's the other thing I can
Really?
tell you in terms. No, it's not. I mean, the locals will tell you that
it's lesser than it used to be.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, it's not. And I kind of noticed it a couple of years ago when I came down here for an NBA game. I was struck by how dead it was. But it's not bad. I mean, I don't know. People were telling me that last night. Like, it's not what it used to be.
Interesting.
Etc. And I just walked down there now. It looked pretty good. It looked pretty nice. There just wasn't that many people down there. So, no, the Big Red, that influx of fans, it's coming, but it's not here yet.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of people were hoping this would be the site, but in probably true Nebraska fashion, not a lot of people were banking on it until they actually knew, hey, this is where we're going to go. And so, you got a short turnaround. This isn't like going to Kansas City for the Cincinnati game where you had months to prepare for it.
Yeah.
So I tend to agree with you. I think the horde is definitely on the way. I know, Sip. I've watched you. I've heard you. Read some of your stuff. You truly believe that this crowd advantage will play to Nebraska's favor. Could it also, though, add more pressure to the situation to have that many people there to watch history and expecting you to make history?
Yeah, John. Probably a fine line, right?
Mm-hmm.
It may be why a good start would be helpful, right? If it doesn't go well early, maybe that pressure does begin to build a little bit. But I think by and large, it's a huge advantage, especially if you get going early. I can't imagine Troy's too used to playing in front of, an arena that will be like tomorrow. Now, I want to see it. I mean, I got to make sure we're right on this. I mean, I'm assuming that it'll be nearly packed and almost all Nebraska fans. There's not many Troy. You're not going to see many Troy fans here, but we'll be full. We'll be full. How close to full we'll be. That's why I kind of want to see. But I think it'd be hard to take me off of the notion that it's not a huge advantage. I just think if anything that Nebraska does in terms of momentum on the court will become, it'll be elevated by that, just like it is at PBA. I mean, Nebraska's really hard to beat at PBA. You can get Nebraska at PBA, as we saw this year, but it's harder. And I think this is kind of a PBA South type of situation.
Sip, I was interested hearing from Sam and Price earlier in the week when they, found out the matchup and they were getting ready for Troy and everything that they were talking about when they were in Lincoln before they made the travel down south. But how much confidence do you think this team has in righting the wrongs of the past really 2-3 weeks or so? Maybe the slower offensive days, the Big Ten tournament run that ended shorter than maybe what they had hoped for. How confident, I guess, are you in the confidence of the team to come out with that hot start, like Fred had mentioned, and kind of like what people are assuming Nebraska can have when they have such a hot and fiery crowd ready in OKC?
Yeah, how are they mentally? I think the answer is basically that they're a veteran team, and I don't think they've even, we're talking about 6-6 in the last 12. Even through that, you don't see a lot of wild mood swings. You don't see craziness, right? You've seen some stuff with Frager where he was on the bench when they were in the huddle, and that was, it wasn't because he was ill. I mean, it was because he wasn't quite right. He wasn't in the right mental spot. So there's a little bit of that stuff going on. I think now Frager today was fine. I think he's coming out of that little funk. To answer your question, veterans. I mean, Sam and Rink, and even Price Sanford. Just on and on. I mean, Kale. These are older guys. I don't think that confidence wavers all that much. And yeah, and I think that there's some legitimacy. I don't like doing this thing where They lost to Purdue big and that, but it's okay because Purdue is hot. Yeah. I mean, I think there's some validity to that conversation. I don't like it, but I wouldn't like it if I was a coach. But it's a decent card to play. You know, if you're worried about your team's confidence, you play that card probably. And there's probably enough validity to it that it's real. But I think they're in a pretty good place for this.
Steve Sipple joining us from Oklahoma City. Obviously, the answers at times have fluctuated through the year. You know, who needs to have the best game for Nebraska to win? Obviously, early in the season, it was Rink Mast. Later in the season, it was Sanford. Really kind of the one steady throughout the whole year and really kind of the glue guy has been Sam. I'm curious about the matchup tomorrow, if it's one of those three guys or maybe it's somebody else that you see as key that this guy must play well for Nebraska to win.
I think if you look at Troy, John, and you look at where their best players are, it's the front court.
Yep.
You know, it's Victor Valdez, 6'7", it's Thomas Dowd, 6'8", it's Jarrell Bell, 6'9", it's Theo Singh, 6'9". They do have a guard named Cooper Campbell who's pretty good too. He's a good shooter, but their best players are 6'7" and above. It's their front court.
Mm-hmm.
I think about Burke a lot. I think Burke.
Okay.
I don't want to just go. I just say front court's really important in this game for Nebraska. These guys for Ohio aren't. It's not. You know, it's not Michigan's front line. You know, it's not that. They're not that. They don't have a 7'4" guy and a 6'10", 230-pound guy, but they all got length. That guy, and one of the guys I didn't mention, Jarrell Bell, he's athletic around the rim.
And he's been really on fire as of late, too.
Oh, he's been good. It's kind of an interesting situation because he's been playing in place of Theo Singh in the last 4 weeks or so, but they get Theo Singh back. Those are names people will recognize tomorrow. I just think a guy, why is Burke important to me? Because he plays around the rim. He's going to have to defend, somebody, one of those guys, or, he's going to have to be pertinent in that conversation. And he's bigger. Burke's a bigger dude than these guys. And I'd like to see him assert that, It'd be a good game for Burke to get 10 points and 8 rebounds, really assert himself on both sides, but on both sides, not just defensively. I expect him to do it defensively, but also offensively. I'd like to see what that looks like. I think they could use a little boost. Now, I know what people are thinking. No, you can't have Burke shooting. I don't really mean stepping out, on the perimeter. I mean getting hoops around the basket against guys that probably aren't as strong as him.
Are you breaking out in hives? I mean, we haven't even talked football yet, and I don't know if you know this, Sip, but the football team's practicing this month. It's spring football.
It's not this week though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's been fortuitous, John. They're off this week.
That is true.
Yeah, so it's been kind of I guess I'll just say fortuitous for the guys that I consider myself a football writer, but with them off, it's easy to lock in on this team. I watched all the games, or watched or listened, and we'll see about next week. Well, I mean, we don't even know if they'll. I just wonder next week what will happen if they. I think they got a great chance to get the next weekend, and then it'll get really interesting because I don't know what we do in that situation.
Which is why I thought it was. I mean, I understand why it got moved up. It makes sense, flying under the radar. But then to potentially put the fan base in a bind like that, and listen, the ones with the means, they're going to travel to wherever they need to travel to follow the basketball team.
Yep.
But we all know what football means around here. And, the spring game is this unofficial, tailgate vacation, where you get to break out the tailgate gear one time between now and the fall.
And they're supporting wildlife or wildfire fundraising.
And
too.
it is.
So,
they are supporting wildfires. It's just they won't have the ability to brag about, we had another 70,000 at spring game.
That is true.
If all goes for the best.
Yeah, let's just see. I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, obviously.
That's true.
There's definitely that possibility.
Well, Sip, what have you planned tonight? You got the whole team there. Obviously, are you deferring to Robin because he is the basketball guy, or do you get to choose, or is Sean, because he's got the credit card, is he choosing where
steak
you eat
dinner
tonight?
on Sip?
Oh yeah, I mean, but trust me when I tell you, I got no say in it. It's mostly Sean. I would defer to Robin if I have to. I defer to Robin a lot on basketball. Well, I defer to him completely on basketball. We're going to Mahogany Steakhouse.
Of course.
Soon here.
Well, it's either that or it's high dollar Mexican food. I know how you guys roll.
Yeah, I don't mind saying we're going to Mahogany because I'm really looking forward to it. And if it makes any difference to you, last night for dinner I had an Arby's roast beef sandwich and a small Jamocha shake, and that was it. So
Wow.
Wow, you were slumming it with the pores last night.
Way to really be in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day, Sip. That was really good of you.
Yeah, I was not. There was nothing in my life that said St. Patrick's Day yesterday. I was clad mostly brown.
Mostly brown.
Well, yeah, listen, if I went to Arby's, I too would wear brown just in case of an emergency.
Well, you blend in better with all the meats.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I look like a...
Well, you boys have a good time tonight at Mahogany, and then, of course, tomorrow at the game. And we'll see if it's a long weekend or not.
Yeah, I'm thinking it will be. I mean, this team of Troy concerns me a little bit because they're interesting to me. I mean, what I said is like, they're 6'7", 6'8", 6'8", 6'9", 6'9". Those are their best guys. But I don't. I'll just close with this. I think they'll really struggle against Nebraska's half-court defense. I think that'll be the difference. At Nebraska, when they're typically locked in defensively, and it's usually quite a sight to behold. And I think they'll be jacked up. And you know what? That's a controllable. That's something that you can always control. And this can get a little wacky in the Big Ten tournament, in the NCAA tournament. But that doesn't have to get wacky. You can play good defense.
Steve Sipple of HuskerOnline.com. Thank you, Sip.
All right. Thank you to you guys for your patience.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
See you, Sip.
Steve Sipple joining us from OKC.
Good stuff. I need to go down to Mahogany now, I feel like. You have to believe there has to be a good steakhouse in Oklahoma City, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Although saying the high-end Mexican food thing is very, very
well,
funny.
It's
so
true.
true.
It's either that or it's high-end Mexican food.
Yeah, it's so true.
I know how those
funny.
guys roll because it was, I could go for a margarita and a chimichanga.
He would be the one person that would be like chips and queso on St. Patrick's Day. I think that'd be fun.
I mean, that does sound good.
His point, too, about just the veteran status of the team and going through that. Kevin Suits had tweeted out this clip from, I guess, the locker room availability.
Yeah.
Is Jamarcus Lawrence talking about playing in the NCAA tournament for Nebraska 2 years ago against Texas A&M. This was his quote. He had said, "I was just out there deer in headlights. The lights were too bright for me." And now it says that there's a totally different approach and mindset as a senior. I do wonder, not that there's like a huge carryover of like that roster and, the names and faces have changed a little bit, but there is obviously Mast and Lawrence and Sam.
Sam was on the roster.
But I wonder,
Jacobson was on the roster.
Do you think maybe Fred changed up a lot of their preparation of just like maybe how you get to the arena or like when you get there or any of that other stuff? Like how much of that is controlled?
I think those types of things that would all have been done here in Lincoln or here in Nebraska, because once you get to the tournament site, you're kind of at the mercy of the tournament schedule. You've got your shoot around time. If you are getting there early enough to do a full practice, and this usually doesn't, that's usually not until you play the next ground game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really not a lot. I don't think they can change from site to site once you get to the location. So if there was going to be any adjustments, it would have happened in Lincoln.
Right.
And I think the worst thing you can do is change how you practice based on the situation.
Yeah.
I mean, if you believe in your practice principles and if you believe in the course that you have set and your culture, you treat this game like any other game. You treat them all seriously.
Right.
Right. So the last thing you want to do is put more pressure on them by, oh my God, coach is changing things up. This must be a big deal. Well, of course it's a big deal. That doesn't need to be said.
Right.
So I don't think they would have had to change anything up. I just think having that experience is going to pay off. Where, yeah, Jamarcus Lawrence might have felt like a deer in the headlights, but now he's 2 years older. He's been through that before. And unlike the team 2 years ago when they went to the tournament, this team is battle tested.
Oh, yeah.
They have played some of the best teams in the country.
And they're well traveled.
And have won some of those games.
Oh, yeah. And
they've traveled.
Been all over the place.
Exactly.
You know, sleeping in hotel rooms, getting back on late flights, all that other stuff. I think like all that Big Ten travel and stuff in the regular season, you can make, you know, your bones about if you're Mick Cronin or whatever. When you get into the tournament, I think all those things are benefits because it's like, listen, we've already been in all these like crummy places. We've already, you know, had to do weird things with our schedules to get ready. This is in your time zone. You're not, you know, changing your sleep schedule at all. All those different controllables outside of playing at home are in your control. Yeah. And I think it truthfully does come to that. That's, I think, the other part of it too, is like you've got your fan base, all these other things that get to stay the same. You just got to go out and do it. Yeah. And that's when it comes down to basketball, that's what you want at the end of the day. You just want to be able to get out on the floor and just say, there's nothing else that we could do differently. It's just go out there and play ball.
Home run. It's now 8-1. Nebraska in the 7th.
Football offense. Fired up.
They are rolling now. 11 in a row is now inevitable.
Good for them.
Also inevitable, we got to pick the Midwest bracket. So I've only got 3 games that I'm really torn on right now because I've got Michigan advancing, I got Tech advancing, I got Alabama advancing, I got Tennessee advancing, I got Virginia advancing, I got Iowa State advancing. Georgia St. Louis 8-9. This one could be first team to 80 wins. Georgia's playing great offense the last 3 weeks. They're making 47% of their threes on 27 attempts per game. That is a lot. Catchings had 32 against Alabama. They've got great rim protection with Cyril, but the rest of their defense is And you talk about a team that relies on the three. UGA was only 2-6 against the SEC when they didn't make at least 10 threes.
Wow.
Meanwhile,
that's crazy.
St. Louis, both top 5 in efficiency, field goal offense, and defense. They've got 5 different players that are 39% or better from 3. They're going to play fast, but they're sloppy with the ball. They turn it over a lot, and they're not great at the free throw line. Georgia, St. Louis.
I feel like you go Georgia there, right? You have to feel confident in that. Georgia's also, I don't know if you caught this on the Whimper in the non-con, but Georgia, I think, scored like 120 points in one of their games.
They did.
It's hard not. Listen, I'm offense pilled when you look at that sort of thing, and you're like staring it down, and you're just like, man, what if they get hot and they just never let up, right? That's how I feel. So if you're going on a 1-game sample size, I would go Georgia. And also, you mentioned the turnovers too. Usually you don't get those cleaned up too much, right? Like usually those aren't like hey, sometimes a team gets red hot from 3. Sometimes a team gets all these calls or whatever. Usually if you have bad turnovers don't just usually get cleaned up when you hit March.
5-12 possibility, Texas Tech, Akron. The Red Raiders, great at sharing the sugar, but they don't have JT Toppin. They've been good on the offensive glass, but without Toppin, no front court depth. Meanwhile, Akron, one of the fastest teams in the country, really good in efficiency field goal offense. Tavari Johnson might be the best point guard among all the mid-majors, but they are undersized. They're not great at defending the 3, and teams who are big tend to give them problems. Could this be I don't have a 12-5. I don't have a 12 over a 5. Should this be my 12 over 5? Should I weigh the JT Toppin loss, or has he been gone enough where the Red Raiders have adjusted?
If I give you another Akron, I guess it's not
Give me
necessarily
another
a stat.
Akron.
But
Give me another Akron.
Listen,
I'm looking for a reason to pick the Zips.
I like the Zips because I think they're the most motivated team and in the entire 64-team field. Because out of that entire conference, all they heard all season was, "Oh, Miami, Ohio, so good. Look at it." And then, of course, Akron played them, didn't necessarily get the results they wanted. But then Akron was almost denied the opportunity to be able to compete because of the Miami of it all.
Sure.
And yet here they are. They get an opportunity to.
They do.
They're fast. And especially if you don't have your number one guy to clean up things, make sure everything's like getting back into order. Not that JT Toppin hasn't been out for some time. Texas Tech has resolved some of those things. They're a completely different team. When the pace of play is that quick and you have a motivated team that, like much like Nebraska, wants to come out fast and get going early, hard to catch up with a team that you're already trailing. So I personally, like, I've been going Akron in a lot of the brackets I've been going for.
You talked me into it.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm a zip. And Kentucky, Santa Clara. Now, this one, I want to pick Santa Clara because Kentucky's been a head case all season.
Yes. Yep.
But they're big.
Mm-hmm.
Moreno and Diabate generate 49% of their points inside or from two. But they can be turnover prone. They've been below 500 the last month of the season. Meanwhile, Santa Clara, pretty good at making 3 field goals, I should say, 3-point field goals. Good at forcing turnovers, but can get a little foul happy. Santa Clara has not won. You talk about long streaks without a tournament win? They haven't won a tournament game since 1996. Do they get one here and make Mark Pope even more nervous? Or do I just take the safe pick and pick Kentucky because it's Kentucky and it's the NCAA tournament?
I feel like it's Kentucky in this one. As much as I've been trying to go with your underdogs, you know, as you know, the different seeds and such.
Fine.
And you're right. It's hard to pick Kentucky because they've been such a head case. But you also look, I think the Big Ten had the best basketball conference. The SEC wasn't too far behind. They were a head case in one of the better conferences. And they also kind of handled their business when they really needed to. It's just they didn't reach where you wanted them to be because of the expectation of what they were. That's why they're a head case. That's the hardest part about picking some of these first round games is you're like, I'm so frustrated with where this team was, but you have to take the step back and say, am I frustrated because of how they played or because of the expectation of how I thought that they were going to play?
Great point. All right, we'll do the East and the West, and then we'll talk to Mike Farron. We've got dumb debate still to come, and don't forget we're off a little bit early today for the first 4 games starting at 5:30 here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. But first, John Bishop here to tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is the place to go to help make picks and win money, and you can do them both right here in the state of Nebraska. All you have to do is download that Underdog Fantasy app. Then you pick from a variety of different games across all different sports. But for the tournament of great significance, maybe you're focused on that. Find your favorite teams. Find your favorite players, or maybe your least favorite teams and players. Pick whether those players go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and a whole lot more. And if you get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. And right now, you download that Underdog app. We're going to get you some bonus plays. So download Underdog today. Use our promo code 1620TheZone at sign up and score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code 1620TheZone with Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus and present in Nebraska. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit ncpgambling.org. Hey, did you know that you could win a backyard makeover?
Whoa.
That's right, an outdoor upgrade. We've teamed up with Roberts Nursery Landscape and Lawn to give you a shot at $10,000 backyard makeover. You could do the lawn, or you could do the lawn, maybe add to your patio, maybe repave it, maybe get an outdoor kitchen, add some water features, maybe retaining walls. Your choice. The world is your oyster. All you have to do is go to 1620thezone.com today. Register for your chance to win a $10,000 outdoor upgrade from Roberts Nursery Landscape and Lawn. Before we welcome in Mike Farron, let's look at the East. Ohio State, TCU. TCU, a month ago, was not in the tournament, but they won 9 out of their last 11. They have forced a turnover on nearly 22% of their opponent's possessions over the last month, which is top 15 in the country. They were top 80 in offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding percentage. So they're playing good basketball. Buckeyes, meantime, good shooting team. 4th in the conference in field goal percentage. John Mobley, 92 threes this year, 42% from deep. But the Buckeyes have had an issue playing away from home and when the competition has been better. Only 5-6 in true road games, 1-2 in neutral site games, and only 3-10 against quad 1. Also defensively, been a little bit suspect. Do I go with Jamie Dixon or do I go with OSU? I'm leaning purple here.
I would also lean purple because I feel like, again, the hot hand going into March, you feel more confident in that.
Yeah.
Ohio State has just been shaky all year.
I
and
agree.
almost kind of that same conversation where we had with Kentucky before we went to the break. I didn't have much expectations really for Ohio State. Them getting the tournament, I think, is a win for them as it is. And judging from what I can read online, I don't think that there's any expectation from the Ohio State fan base that they even go that far. I think TCU has the hotter hand. I feel like they're the better team. And I didn't realize the defensive stat you mentioned, but a turnover on 22% of your opponent's possessions is pretty nuts. I mean, that's pretty good. So I feel like if someone's going to turn it over more often than not, and also not be able to have really the shooting, or not the shooting selection, but really just the offensive variety you need to be able to move forward, feel like you have to lean TCU.
I had 2 other games selected, but I'm taking one of them off the board. We found out today Michael Brown from Louisville not going to play this weekend.
Rip.
So I'm going USF.
Okay.
And the other game, UCLA and UCF.
Interesting. Fight on nights.
5 players in double figures for UCLA. We obviously saw them against Nebraska a couple of weeks ago. They're 20th in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency over the last month. They've been really smart. They've been really balanced. Don't turn it over a ton. Well, they also don't force a lot of turnovers. Meanwhile, UCF, one of the better offenses in the country. And they've got one of the best names in the country in 5th-year point guard, Themis Fulks. I said Fulks. Fulks, Nick. I said Fulks.
Okay. I won't dump you this time.
Say it one more time.
Themis Fulks.
He does.
I almost feel like I have to take UCF now. But I'm going to be you know what? As much as we like to bag on old Mick Cronin for being a curmudgeon, he's still a pretty good coach.
Yeah, he's 16-15 in the NCAA tournament.
And this is a pretty good team.
He's been back-to-back UCLA Bruins teams that have went into the NCAA tournament, obviously coming out of the Pac-12 into the Big Ten. It just depends on how you feel about Cronin, right? Like, that's actually how I feel about UCLA. I'm not a Cronin stan because I'm tired of, all the complaining and whining and all that other stuff.
Are you raising your voice at me?
Exactly. But I can't deny that he's a really good coach.
Yeah.
I just don't think that he has the ability to draw from this team what they need. I also didn't think they were going to be in this position anyway. I feel like you lean UCF, but I can completely understand why UCLA. If you are on the opposite side of me, where you're like, dude, Mick Cronin is the man. Like, he's one of the guys in the Big Ten who's one of the premier coaches. He's up there with the top, of the best of the conference. I can understand why you go to UCLA. I choose not to because I don't want to hear from Mick Cronin anymore. I'm tired of it.
This is on camera. They can hear you.
Well, who we want to hear from is Mike Farron.
Yes.
He was on the call last night for Venezuela's upset win over Team USA. They are the World Baseball Classic world champions.
Was he rooting for Venezuela?
I was.
Whoa.
Well, anti-American Nick.
Well, no.
He's a Rockies fan.
Two Rockies were on that team, John. They needed to know what it's like to play for a winning team.
The closer is my closer.
Yeah, I know, but only
But I
under
was still
very
rooting for
specific
America.
I
circumstances.
can't believe you would root for Venezuela. Do you hate America?
I like Rockies players.
Interesting.
Back with Mike Farron next on 1620 The Zone. It's now 10-1 Nebraska over Wichita State. In
Baseball State?
Baseball State, indeed. 11 straight wins on the way for Big Red. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, joining us again from his beautiful palatial estate, back home again in Arizona, it's our good friend Mike Ferris. Who's messing with the settings on his computer.
Hey, Mike.
I had to do some stuff today already. I haven't been home very long. My face is enormous in this, isn't it?
It is.
Bigger than usual.
You are a large-headed man.
Yes, well,
very large man.
You're very nice to the one Mike Farron who made time for us after his
He
long
did.
trip.
He did. He's very kind to make some time for us, but I had to talk to him after last night's game. What a tremendous World Baseball Classic it was, capped off by an upset, Venezuela, behind Daniel Palencia, who I expect to be just as emotional when he beats the Brewers in June as he was last night.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's Palencia. That's why I'm on the show. No, it makes sense.
It was.
What are you called?
We got a question from a friend of the Grum who said, question for Farron, was Fox tinkering with the levels on the crowd noise, or was it really that loud?
It was insane. I think we talked about this back in 23, right? The U.S. Venezuela game, and that's the loudest. Like, you may remember in the NLCS that year, Merrill Kelly was pitching for the Diamondbacks. He actually started the championship game in 2023 for the U.S., and he got asked in Philly, he's like, are you worried at all about the noise or talking about the noise of Phillies fans? And he said, well, I just can't imagine it's any louder than that game was. And Philly fans were grasping at their pearls. They couldn't believe it. They were clutching them. There was, oh my goodness. And like, he was right. Like, that was a loud crowd in Philly, but it's, there's a roof closed and Venezuelan fans are really loud. So fast forward 3 years later, and yeah, it was incredibly loud. I think the loudest it was right when Harper homered, because you had, like kind of the cheers and jeers at the same time. Venezuelan baseball fans are awesome, by the way, because win or lose,
it was
the party out in the street is incredible. Like, it's just amazing.
So I was curious about that, like what you felt the percentage of fan bases were, because it felt pretty even all throughout. But I mean, there's
like a 250,000 Venezuelans who live in Miami,
yeah,
right?
And
like that.
I'd say it was 60-40 Venezuela last night. I mean, I think generally
80-20, honestly.
Yes.
It's what it sounds.
When the U.S. played teams that weren't Latin American countries, the crowds were very sit on your hands, even when they were playing well. When the crowds were playing the Latin American teams, the U.S. fans were outnumbered. So whether that was Mexico or that was the Dominican Republic or it was Venezuela, and I know they didn't play the U.S. They played what somebody lovingly called Italy, the U.S. JV team, but it's a lot of Italian Americans on it. But the Puerto Rican crowd for like one afternoon in Houston was insane. So it's just a different brand of fandom, and it's so awesome, and it makes the event super special. Like, it just makes things better, and I really love the passion that Latin American fans bring, and I wish there were ways we could encourage U.S. fans to do that. If there are ways we could capture that, and I've heard from teams, and I bring it up before, and they're like, "No, you can't do that for 162 games." I was talking to a guy who's been a scout for 40 years, and I mentioned that to him, and he looked at me, he goes, "Man, I spent a lot of time in Japan. They play 140 some odd games a season." He's like, it is loud and exciting, and there's drums and noises and songs and all of that. And then if the game gets good, it's even better. He's like, so whoever is telling you that is full of it, which I really appreciated it, because I like to be right, and I like to know when people are full of it.
Well, as I told Mike on Twitter, I went for a walk last night, so I listened to Mike's broadcast for like the first 5 innings before I got home. And sometimes when you're on a walk, you listen to a ball game, you kind of phase out, you think about other things. The din in the crowd was so intense. It wasn't a typical baseball low rumble. It was a higher, it forced you to pay attention, and it felt, and every pitch felt big, right? It was like listening to a World Series game. It really was. And And obviously, based on the way, Venezuela treated this, I mean, this to them, I heard Albert Pujols say, before his team got eliminated, this would mean as much to me as winning a World Series. It meant a lot to this team. And so even though the U.S. lost last night, I found myself feeling good, even though the team I was rooting for lost, because you could tell how much it meant to these guys.
I think with Venezuela in particular, they were the only kind of baseball mad country that, hadn't won the WBC yet.
Right.
And two, they, obviously the political unrest that's there with the capture of Maduro and listen, we're going on 30 years of political turmoil almost in Venezuela now. So, I know a lot of Venezuelan players and I've talked to them about it, and it's, there are a lot of times it's unsafe. There are a lot of people that don't go back. Omar Lopez, their manager, was talking about how important it was for him, because of travel restrictions and stuff. He didn't get a chance to go back to see his dad before his dad passed away after his dad had left Astros camp. This was in 2021. And it's really hard. And there's a lot of family members that couldn't be there, I think. And it's scary. And, you think back, this is now almost 10 years ago, right? Wilson Ramos, the former catcher with the Nationals, who was kidnapped, right? There were people looking for money, and desperation makes you do desperate things, right? So it is a beautiful country from everything that I understand, with people who love baseball. I will say this, and this is, a completely biased take, but one of the most beautiful human beings that's ever played professional baseball got the game-winning hit. Eugenio Suarez is just a prince of a dude.
Yeah.
He is one of my absolute favorite players I've ever covered. He is just the warmest, kindest human being alive. And there were a lot of people. I was getting text messages from people this morning who were like, the fact that Gino knocked in the biggest run of the game was even cooler, because that's the way people feel about him. So,
and how surprised were you, Mike? Because as I was listening to your broadcast, you and your partner Ryan Spielberg were talking about how his timing was off. And so when he comes to the plate in that situation, I'm thinking this isn't going to be the guy to do it. So was it a little surprising, given how his previous at-bats had gone, that he came up with the big knock?
Yeah, I think the way I'd flip it on its head is, if you're going to get beat, you're going to get beat with your best pitch, right? And that's Whitlock's best, is his changeup. So, Whitlock was just a little off. And I think one of the things we talked about was that was a quick change, right? When Harper, homers, and all of a sudden it's Whitlock's got to get ready. So Mark DeRosa, I know, came under a lot of fire, and I think a lot of strategic moves that he was criticized for are a little bit unfair because of the restrictions, right? And I understand that not everybody's paying attention to everything that he's under, but last night he literally, he knew he could use Whitlock in a tie game. He could not use Mason Miller in a tie game. Even the people are like, what do you mean there isn't a save situation? It doesn't matter. The Padres weren't going to let him use him. And so Whitlock was going to be the guy, and he trusted Whitlock. And Whitlock was one of the best relievers in the American League. But man, when you have to get ready quick like that, it just, everything speeds up. And if you're a changeup artist, it can make it a little difficult. And I think that's what happened to Whitlock, because, he's been through big games at Fenway. He's played in the playoffs. He understands all of it. But Aaron Judge said it. Kike Hernandez, who's been in 5 World Series, said it. Albert Pujols talked about it. And Pujols talked with us about how much that event has evolved in 20 years. It's different. It's just different. And as much as Derek Jeter tried to poo-poo the fact that, if they think this is bigger, they've never been in a World Series. Well, Jeets, you haven't been in this version of the WBC. That's really, and I realize that sounds really strange, but then this is national pride that's on the line. And it is such a cool event because of the energy that it brings. And it is different. There's a different level of intensity to it. It's really cool.
Yeah, that was, you just answered what my follow-up was going to be, was, the opposite side of it. We see all the emotions and everything that pour out from the Venezuelans that are in the crowd and on the field and everything, but then you didn't necessarily get the American dejection from it. But I realize now there was so much celebration going on. Mm-hmm. There was no reason to show any of it, but it does go to show that I think the World Baseball Classic has done an excellent job over its past few iterations, that the game just means so much more to everyone on the national sense, in terms of that national pride each and every year that we see this turn out. And I think obviously the United States didn't perform and finish out the way that they wanted to this year, but that means the next time is going to be a bigger
Hey,
deal,
listen,
right?
look-
Like, I mean, it makes it such a bigger venue every time.
Let's face it, the Olympic basketball got boring over time because the U.S. kept winning. What made people in this country perk up? When they lost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this has now happened to the U.S. the last couple of times.
I mean, listen, they've been to the finals 3 straight, so it's not
Yeah.
like they haven't performed well in the tournament,
Right.
It's
They just-
baseball. Like,
but we're America, we expect to win.
We're used to. Yeah, I get it, but like, and like, I think it had a huge impact on the players. Bob Nightingale was reporting that Bryce Harper was in tears in the clubhouse last night, like, because it meant a lot to him. You know, I think the U.S. players had a little different way of showing it than most of the other players did, and they certainly caught criticism for it, and I don't think it's unwarranted. They were probably taking it in too business-like an approach and missing this. I think everybody else saw it as a celebration of baseball, and I think they saw it as a job.
Yeah.
And and I think that's some of the pressure that Austin, you brought up in terms of them not winning, right? Like they didn't win the last time, so then you got to win this time. But it really is continuing to grow, and I think we kind of talked about this with Mark DeRosa before the game yesterday, in that like, you think about what the iconic moments are, right? So like there's like early on in those first 3, there was the David Wright, was it in 2013, the base hit, the walk-off that sent him to the semifinals, right? And everybody got excited before Nelson Figueroa just absolutely carved them up, like through the game of his life in the semis. You get the Adam Jones catch in 17, right? Like in the semis against Manny Machado. In 23, you have multiple moments down the stretch, right? You've got Trey Turner's grand slam in the quarters against Venezuela. You've got Murakami walking off Japan when Mexico was 3 outs away from moving to the finals, right? And then you've got Ohtani versus Trout to end that. And then you have what became this. And as you look at the lineups and the way they changed, I mean, we made a big deal out of the fact that when you included the starting pitchers, the U.S.-Dominican game had 56 all-star games under the belt of the 10 guys that were starting the game, the 9 in the lineup, including the DH and the starting pitcher, right? So, like, that's insane. Well, last night, Venezuela ran out. I'm going to try and do this from memory, but National League MVP and multiple-time All-Star in the leadoff spot. A 3-time batting champion was hitting third, right? A 2-time Gold Glove Award winner was playing left field. Like they had the youngest ever to go 20-20 in his first 2 seasons was playing center field and hitting 9th for them, right? Like
catcher.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, well, but also a 9-time All-Star who's
Yes.
now won a World Series MVP award, won the World Baseball Classic, won a World Series, won the Clemente Award, won the Stan Musial Award, right? Like the accolades on that roster, like Gleyber Torres, who Yankee fans crapped all over for years, which I never understood. It's been to 4 All-Star games, like that's not nothing. Ezekiel Tovar had an amazing tournament. He's a Gold Glove Award winner, and he was doing it with the bat. So like that was Venezuela. That was the team that wasn't as good as the Dominican Republic, right? So I think it was a sensational event again, and I think it's going to continue to grow. And I just they don't know what year it's going to be next because they have to do the collective bargaining agreement. But
they might be locked out still by that time.
You never know. Like who knows? Maybe we'll just shut the whole thing down and start from scratch. But 2029 would seem to be it, and because it is a joint venture between the league and the Players Association. My understanding is that the league wasn't sure that they wanted to continue it after COVID. They were unsure. And the players.
Man, I'm glad they did.
Yeah, no kidding.
Man, I am too. I mean, it's great. And from the first
guy who was voting no, and then you just watch that.
And yes, the ratings are the best they've ever been. The energy was the best it's gotten better every year. I mean, watching that Dominican game, the U.S. Dominican game, it was like watching the All-Star game.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was like watching the All-Star game with stakes. Remember what it was like this time it counts? No, that time it actually counted, right? And that was like the most fraught playoff game you could be at. That was a 2-1 game, right? Where this powerful Dominican lineup that had averaged 10 runs a game coming in right through their first 5 left, an entire truckload of base runners on base. Like they had all sorts of chances to be able to knock in runs. And that to me was that was as intense and thrilling a game.
I agree.
Right down to the blown call on strike 3. Listen, they didn't have ABS and the challenge system in it, fine, but whatever. But the whole thing was incredible theater. And normally, you contrast it to the U.S. Venezuela in 23, which was back and forth, right? It was a 9-7 game. This was 2-1, and this had, you had to be riveted to it.
It
And
was.
we add this to it. This was the first one with the pitch timer, and I think it added to that with those low-scoring games.
Oh, yes.
Fans don't like low-scoring games. Casual fans, the hardcores like us, we love them. But casual fans don't like them, but they were invested in it because it moved. And
It moved. It was drunk. It was dramatic. Yeah, there was a lot of base runners, not a lot of scoring, but it was tremendous. I love that. I mean, last night's game was fun. The Sunday game was, to me, the highlight of the tournament.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I mean, last night, Harper hitting the home run with 2 outs in the 8th inning was unbelievable. Like, that was
like a stand out of your seat moment. I mean,
I
was at home.
It was like, oh,
Yep.
We did. Like, literally, like, if you had a camera on me, I shot up out of my seat when he hit it. Because it was like, I mean, he had been, the thing is like, his numbers weren't good, right, throughout the tournament, but he was like this far off. There were probably 5 or 6 fastballs that he fouled straight back, right?
Right.
Just a little
Well,
later.
even the hit he had early in the game, he had a laser beam. I mean, he was on it. He just, was a little bit off, here and there, but tremendous stuff. And now next week, the season begins.
Baseball.
Baseball is back, and Mike will be back on as our regular baseball guy starting on Tuesday.
Tuesday, huh? Okay.
Well, that's the day you chose.
I guess that's right.
chose-
What day is today?
Thursday. Oh no, Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday.
Whoa, my bad.
I would have taken your word for it.
Wednesday.
My bad. Sorry, Mike. Didn't mean
I
to-
get home for one day and I'm off to Chapel Hill tomorrow. So I got Louisville, North Carolina on Friday night. So
Oh, should be good. Well, watch out for Nebraska. They're 2-3 outs away from 11 straight wins.
hey, they're a little bit more athletic. People were really impressed. I know they got off to like a 5-5 start, but people were really impressed with this Nebraska squad early in the season. They might be, they're probably them and maybe Michigan. Michigan's pitching is pretty good. I'm not sure about their lineup, but they're the ones that can probably at least compete with USC. I don't know that I saw
and
Oregon
UCLA. Yeah,
UCLA is really good.
Yeah.
I saw Oregon a couple weeks ago. If they don't end up in Omaha, there should be an investigation. That team is incredible. And Mark Wazakowski, their head coach, definitely has a type because everybody on that team looks like they could play offensive line for the Ducks. It's incredible. Go see if you can find the Dominic Hellman Grand Slam from that Vegas tournament. Dominic Hellman looks like a heel from the WWE.
Well, there was a guy.
He's the nicest kid, apparently, but like he's like 6'5".
There was a guy that was in the bullpen for Oregon who took a home run off his chest.
Their bullpen catcher. Yeah,
the bullpen catcher came out, so the ball's leaving the yard, and you know how guys they'll reach up and try to grab the ball with their glove. No, he just stands there and holds his chest out and just takes the ball off his chest.
And it was off the bat of Angel Laya, who's their freshman, who is an absolute stud. That guy is a monster. He's probably going to be the Big Ten freshman of the year. He's going to be a first-round draft pick in a couple of years. And like when you're getting ready to go see the Big Ten tournament in Omaha this year, like go sit out in right field because he might be, even with the prevailing 70-mile-an-hour wind coming off the river, Laya might reach the seats. Like he is incredible.
I'll be sitting there.
All right, Mike, we'll let you get back to it. Thank you again. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks,
Just
Mike.
remind me what day it is when I'm.
You're welcome.
All right, see you later.
It's Wednesday. There he is, the great Mike Farron, Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, and of course he'll be with us on every Tuesday.
Yeah, not a great look for me that I forgot what day of the week it was. That's on
all
me.
right.
That's on me. That's on me.
We got a break. Dumb Debates is next.
Let's go.
Here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.
Listeners and not to, we did anyway. Dumb debating.
John's computer sucks, Macs are the only way. Dumb debating.
Fullbacks are running backs, hamburger steaks.
Josh is too dumb to eat a cupcake.
Mayo in a base.
Does John like Nebraska or Creighton?
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Die for the pylon or give up on the plate, dumb debating.
Millennials are great and old should go away. Dumb debating.
Rarely do we find any common ground.
Josh wants his food to be the best around.
Even if it gives him fatal flatulation.
Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. When a tree falls down and nobody's around, you can bet your ass it won't make a sound. Water ain't wet, you know nothing about hydration. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating. Just three radio hosts on air, dumb debating.
It is Dumb Debates here on this Wednesday for our new friends on 97.7 The Zone in central Nebraska. This is where you get to take over the Grum. You get to send us your dumb debates. And you can send them to us anytime in our Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Just when you send us your dumb debate, use the hashtag dumb debates. It makes it easier for us to find. You can email your dumb debates into the Equitable Bank Zone inbox, John at 1620thezone.com. What are dumb debates? Exactly. That's exactly what they are. It's anything. It's any debate. It's things you've had over the kitchen table. It's the things you've had at work. It's the stuff you have online.
It's the stuff in that junk drawer.
It's the stuff in that junk drawer.
Including the pink handcuffs.
Dumb debates are everywhere.
That is true.
Fuzzy handcuffs in your trunk
Including on social media.
Like?
Oh, no.
Like this one.
Uh-oh.
2 of these have to go forever. In other words, you must pick 2 of these 9 items and they are out of your life forever.
Make this choice easy right now. I'll do it for you.
Pizza. Ice cream. French fries. Cookies. Burgers. Cake. Chips. Both the inferior Lay's Wavy and the superior Ruffles. Chocolate. And chicken nuggets. 2 of these have to go forever. You looked at this and you already knew what you were going to say.
Easy money. Get rid of cake, get rid of chips. I don't need the CC in my life.
Whoa!
Yeah,
so wait a second. You screamed at me about Ruffles versus Lay's Wavy, and then you're immediately just saying, chips, get out of my life.
I don't need any chips in my life. Not from here on out. They're good. With the rest of that menu, I'm totally fine with no chips ever again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just not a bag of chips like in the household kind of guy either.
But you're passionate about which ruffled chips are better.
Listen, if you give me a variety and choice and I'm going out to a party or such, yeah, I'm very particular on the chip that I want. We've had the Dorito debate before, Nick. That was last week. But I will say, no chips in my home, no cake in my home. I don't even want cake on my wedding day. I'll rather have donuts.
Oh, you're one of those.
Oh, sorry.
We attended a wedding. I'm not going to say whose it was because they might be employed here. My wife was very upset that they did donuts instead of cake.
Classic Schaefer move.
She was very upset that they did donuts instead of cake. I'm like,
how's she feel about cupcakes?
What about cake donuts?
I mean, it is cake.
Okay. Because otherwise she wouldn't like my wedding either.
I'm fine with cupcakes. I don't.
Paige and I get the cake. You get the cupcake. You're there for us. Why should I have to give you cake?
Bang. That's right.
You get the baby cake.
Harsh.
I'm
getting rid of the nuggets.
Oh.
Well, I don't need nuggets.
I can don't need anything.
I know, but you can still have chicken strips. You can still have fried chicken.
What about boneless chicken? Because that's essentially a nugget.
See, the only reason I'd keep nugget on there is because my fiance does appreciate a good nugget every once in a while. So I mean, you got to be able to.
That's why she likes you.
Thank you.
The other one's a little more difficult.
The only other one I kind of put up in the air was actually fries. Is that
wow?
Is that
you're
tough?
Getting rid of all the potatoes?
I'm just not a big sides guy. Like listen, if I never had a burger again, I would feel very sad. I thirst for the sweet treat tooth that comes from an ice cream sundae, or just having ice cream like of the soft serve kind. Pizza. Like I have to have pizza every single Wednesday. That's a tradition of mine. Cookies, like I can't go anywhere without having a cookie every once in a while. Chocolate, I literally ate a Hershey bar here earlier.
Yeah,
a
you
minute ago.
did.
Nuggets are for the fiance. Don't need cake. Don't need chips. I would be sad without fries, but if I had to pick a third, fries would have to be the one that goes.
I have mine, and I think they're controversial.
Okay.
I'm getting rid of ice cream.
Wow.
That's tough.
I don't really eat ice cream that much.
Okay.
I love
That's
ice
fine.
cream.
And I've thought a lot about this one, but cookies is what I'm getting rid of. Not because I don't like cookies, but because there are more types of cookies that I don't like than cookies that I do like.
Yeah.
What about the cookies you really like? You can't have.
I will live without chocolate chip cookies or peanut butter cookies because it also means I don't have to worry about sugar cookies, the worst cookie.
I think I might be leaning cookies too, only because I can't get rid of ice cream. Though, I have cookies much more than I have cake. Yet I feel like I would miss cake more than cookies.
Well, cake feels like an event. Whenever you get cake,
Exactly.
it feels like an event.
Yeah,
That's
if
true.
you ever have cake just like in your home at all times, you must have a great household.
'Cause-
But I don't
Yeah.
have cake
Either-
that often, then I'm not going to miss it.
You're buying it for a reason or you're making it and you're putting time into it's an event. Cake is an event. Cookies, you can just cookies.
I could live without chocolate if it was just like a chocolate bar, like
Yes,
the one
right.
you just
Yeah,
had.
if it was
But-
just candy bars, yeah, I'm not.
But if
worried.
you're just eliminating chocolate, period, thus by keeping cookies, I couldn't have chocolate chip cookies, which
Yes.
is the goat cookie.
Right.
indeed,
And
indeed.
I couldn't get rid of chocolate because I like Reese's too much.
And I also like peanut M&Ms in my popcorn. Like I can't get
Mhm.
rid of that chocolate.
You can't.
It's
That's
part of my life
good.
that I have to have.
Then it gets a little ooey gooey in the popcorn.
We do love an ooey gooey.
Yeah,
Did you give your prediction yet, John? Or your
I think it's nuggets and cookies.
Mm.
Nuggets for sure. The rest of them are really tough. I think I'm going to lean cookies.
See, I like nuggets too much. Nuggets are too much of a good fallback. It's like, hey, dear, what do you want for dinner tonight?
Nugs.
I don't know. Let's just do nugs. Perfect.
Such a child.
Yeah. What's wrong with some
Adults
nugs?
can have nugs, John.
I do.
You're the one who needs to grow up.
I was thinking of a food related one earlier, and it crossed my mind because I drove by an all you can eat buffet.
Ooh.
And the thought crossed my mind, it's basically a would you rather, right? Like, would you rather have to eat every single meal for the rest of your life, 3-course meals every single day, snacks, all that sort of stuff at an all you can eat buffet?
Right.
Or you can only eat at what you can cook from your own home. And those are your two options. So like no more steakhouses. You can't go you can't pick up food. You can't do any of that stuff. Everything is basically what you can make at home. So you can teach yourself how to make these great things, but nobody else can do it for you.
Yeah.
Or do you basically go for the sub-tier level of basically all levels of food with the all-you-can-eat buffet?
Yeah.
I'm going to go buffet. This is really easy for me. I know the food isn't as good at a buffet, but it's already there.
True.
And there's already such a variety of things at a buffet.
Mhm.
I'm going to go specifically with the Chinese food buffet because I love
Whoa.
Chinese food anyway. But there's also like always pizza or French fries at some of these Chinese food buffets too, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm feeling like I want something a little more American.
I just like the all-you-can-eat buffet, like in the salad line where they just have like chocolate or vanilla pudding.
Uh-huh.
That's very salad-like.
Or-
I love those.
very much
Yes.
so.
If you go to Golden Corral, they have so many different things in their buffet.
Yeah, so many people
Yeah,
are going
you'll
to
get a
Golden Corral.
steak. Is it a good steak? It's a steak.
I tend to drift away from the steak at those types of buffets
I agree.
because if I'm going to enjoy a steak, I want to make it a good steak.
Right. I
I'm
don't want
not-
my
I don't-
steak touching a slice of pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, I mean, a buffet is basically junk food anyway. So you just
Yes.
go for the junk food, and of course you attack the salad bar because then you make it feel like you're eating.
You got to get
Yeah.
pudding on your spinach.
That's right.
This one I have been sitting on for a very long time, literally.
Nice.
Brandon writes, would you rather have 3 butt cheeks or 1 butt cheek?
Oh, wow.
3 butt cheeks or 1 butt cheek?
This is another easy one for me.
So does this imply that you have 2 cracks? With the
If you
three?
have 3 butt cheeks, you have 2
Oh,
cracks.
Does that mean you have 2 ani?
Dude, I'm only doing 1.
Yeah, I'm
One
also
cheek.
only doing 1.
Yeah.
You know how much easier that would be to clean?
Yeah, I don't need 2. I don't need 2 cracks.
Well,
to
first of
wipe.
all, if you only had 1 butt cheek,
I can sit
there
a lot
wouldn't be
easier.
a canyon for,
That's what I'm saying. There's less resistance. That's easier to clean.
Yeah, there's just a hole. He's just hanging out.
Boy, man, but
Just there.
That thing's going to be exposed.
You're like a
Oh,
cat
man.
at that point. I mean,
Yeah,
See,
you
and I
are.
like to
Yeah.
imagine it
You
wouldn't be
are.
a side butt
You're like
cheek.
a-
I think it'd be more of
a hump.
a hump,
Yeah,
like a
just a hump.
seat.
Just a hump.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
rear hump.
You just got
Yeah,
a
but
seat cushion.
Riding a
what I
bike
want.
would turn very difficult. Very
Riding a
quickly.
bike, sitting in some other circumstances,
Mhm. I would save a lot of money on toilet paper, I feel like.
And how would your body decide which orifice it was emitting from?
Good question.
If you've got 3 butt cheeks which was assume 2 exhaust ports, which exhaust port is being used that day?
That'd be tough.
Now,
You'd be
that
like,
would make it easier if one exhaust port maybe had a blockage, like, I don't know, hemorrhoids.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That would be so fun.
And you could somehow trick your body into saying, could you use the other port?
Yeah, but then you're also doubling your chances of getting double hemorrhoids.
That is true.
And also super easy. Do you want double colonoscopies? No one ever wants 2 fingers up your butt.
That's true.
You don't have to do that anymore.
That's
though.
true. I'm sorry, sir. You have 2 exhaust ports and 3 butt cheeks. We have to check both exhaust ports.
I feel like
That
one
just
butt cheek is the obvious
That
answer.
just doubled your appointment.
Yeah.
You're just talking us out of 3 butt cheeks.
Yeah. Now, again, the sitting part might be a little difficult.
Sitting would be hard with 3 butt cheeks too.
I don't know. To be on the other side of this, if you were watching, you were like at a bachelor party, you like go to the strip club and there's a female out there with 3 butt cheeks, I'd stay and watch.
It's like Total Recall with the 3 boob lady.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, what happened to you?
How would the G string work?
At that point, it's probably just like an ooh string, double O's.
It's a GG string.
GG's. It's a Q string.
A Q string.
I got one that
we told you it was dumb debates, kids.
It is dumb debates. This one's from Pedro.
Yeah.
Hi, Pedro.
Hi guys. Dumb debate question. You have a chance to change any 1-score game of any of your favorite teams, pro or college. What game would you choose?
Ooh, well, immediately, obviously, it comes Nebraska, Texas, Big 12 championship game. That's a like softball layup one. Panthers would be the Super Bowl 50 against the Broncos. But I'm trying to think of like one that just sits with me, right? Like one that, man, Nebraska, Akron. They actually play that game. Let's do that.
Wait, of all these games you can change the score in, and
That's
you're going
a
to pick
joke.
a game that didn't get played?
They probably would have lost that one anyway.
They probably would have. This one comes down to a couple. One is Super Bowl 36.
Okay.
The woke Super Bowl. The other one is Creighton San Diego State in the Elite Eight.
Good pick. Good pick. Good pick.
I think I'm taking the latter.
I'm
because the Rams eventually did get the Super Bowl, and I can still sit on the satisfaction that I know that the Patriots cheated. They spied on our practices, so it's not really a legit title anyway. I really wanted that Final Four.
I'm going to go off the board. I'm actually going to go the LeBron chase down block with the Warriors. I wanted to see Golden State in like their finest hour.
Wow.
I really wanted that moment. And then we turned LeBron into a national hero because he took down the 73-win Warriors. Then in that scenario too, Kevin Durant likely does not go and ruin the NBA, creating the super team.
Yeah.
And maybe we still like basketball today as a country. Who knows? Anything's possible. But I truthfully, that was one of the more heartbreaking games because I was rooting for the greatness of the 73-win Warriors and everything else that kind of had happened. They had the 3-2 series deficit where they came back to win against Oklahoma City. They were dominating, and then Draymond Green decided to kick someone in the groin a couple times, so he was out. But if you don't get the chase down block, you don't hit the Kyrie 3 there, and Golden State finds a way to win that one, you're talking about a dynasty that matches the 90s Bulls, right? And I don't think that it gets the Warriors of that era do not get the credit in which they probably deserve because they did it inorganically. But if you win with this organic roster, the way that the Bulls had at that time, I don't know. I think we're having a really, really good conversation. And maybe Steph Curry gets even elevated just a little bit higher than he is.
I'm going to alter the deal quick, and I'm going to change this from a 1-score game to a game in which I wish the team scored once more. The Dolphins Broncos 70-20 game. I wish the Dolphins would have scored one more time to break the record, but instead Mike McDaniel was like, "Oh, I don't want to hurt Sean Payton's feelings. I want to do this for the good karma." Where's the good karma now? Should have done it.
dead.
Break the
Wow.
Washington
All
R
these-
words record.
All these games that Nick could have picked, and he picked a superfluous one where, I mean, your coach still would have been fired.
Break the record.
That's Dumb Debates. We'll be back. We'll do a truncated content and maybe a what's for dinner.
Yes. America's favorite.
1620 The Zone. At his request, when Austin learned we were ending early today, he thought, does this mean no what's for dinner? No, we're going to have it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's what's for dinner. And this is my most boring one of the year because I don't know what's for dinner. It's probably ballpark food because I'm leaving here and going to Charles Schwab Field for tonight's Creighton-Omaha game, which will be starting in a half hour over on 1180.
Baseball. It's baseball season, folks. And if you're not baseball pilled enough, you should get baseball ballpark food for your dinner. I think that'll be good. What's your go-to? You have a favorite? You just go hot dog.
I mean, usually it depends.
Need a beer and a dog.
It depends.
Bang.
It depends if there's, some. I mean, if I'm at Wrigley Field, I want a Chicago dog.
Yeah, obviously.
But if there are places that are maybe more known for something else, or if I'm hungry for like a super nacho, I get a super nacho.
Okay,
I do like a super
that.
nacho
So,
in a hat bucket.
and famously,
Very
the
good.
concession fare is a little different for regular season games than it is for the College World Series. There's not
True.
as wide a selection.
Yeah, there's no s'more sandwiches or anything like that.
I mean,
happening.
the chicken tender basket is like the best
Chicken
value.
sandwich.
So, I mean, it might end up being chicken tenders. I don't know.
Chicken.
Good move. It is Survivor night. It is Wednesday night. I make pizza every single Wednesday during the Survivor season. And so we will be having
Survivor night.
barbecue chicken pizza with red onion and bell peppers, banana peppers. And then we will have a secondary pizza that is a Hawaiian by request. Pineapple,
good.
Canadian bacon, and a bacon crumble on top.
Nice.
With goat cheese, by the way.
I ordered pizza last night, so now I have a choice between leftover chili or leftover pizza. I like both.
Why not
Although,
both?
It is a bit hot outside for chili now, I
It
gotta
is.
say.
I had chicken pot
Okay,
pie
you
for
can-
lunch today. Yeah, it felt weird.
You can still have chili.
Yeah, you can have it. It's just about how much I'll enjoy it. It's a
You'll
total
still
personal
enjoy
thing.
it. Do you eat it? I mean, you can eat ice cream in the winter.
I know.
It's true.
You
But
have
I
a
don't.
hot dog and a hot hamburger and hot pizza during the hot months. Why can't you have a bowl of hot chili?
Also,
I don't know, John. I don't like soup during summer either.
hot take, but chili dogs only a summer food. I believe in that.
That's actually fair. The most of the time when I eat chili in the
You guys
summer,
are
it's on a chili dog.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what I do. Maybe I pick up some dogs that I could have chili dogs. tonight.
Whoa, that would be a sick move. You should do that.
I should do that.
Oh, but it might be too hot.
Oh, we'll see. I
Might be too hot outside.
I have to get my truck out of the shop tonight. Let's see if I can afford hot dogs after.
Oh no,
Or
that'd be
maybe
tough.
that's the only thing you'll have is hot dogs.
Mm.
Or
Nice.
That and ramen for the rest of your
I did that for like 2 weeks straight when I was like right out of college. I just ate hot dogs. It was awesome. It was great. My health declined,
Oh,
but
I'm sure it
boy, did I
did.
feel
I'm
great.
You
sure
can do
it
a
did.
lot with hot dogs.
Mhm.
Such a good value too.
And also, you can save the water and drink it later.
I can get 8 hot dogs for $2. This is all I'm eating this
we
week.
almost made it to the finish line, and then you had to,
You don't like hot dog flavored water?
No.
What about chocolate starfish?
That's why New York hot dogs are overrated.
Are they too watery? I've never had a New York dog.
It's all about
'Cause they've
the
been
steaming
soaking
and
in water, yeah.
boiling in the damn water.
Oh, it's like a
I want
church
a
hot
good
dog.
grilled hot
Dang.
dog.
It's got a tint of green to it.
I want a good grilled hot dog.
Boiled
Yeah.
dog.
I like
Or off the gas station roller. But
Roller dog.
the boiled hot dogs, no.
Bold.
I'm out on the boiled hot
New Miami's
Nice.
peanut butter crackers, all that good stuff.
dog. We're done for the rest of the week.
We
Wow.
are.
The
Well-
rest of the week,
Well, the NCAA tournament starts
Bruh.
tomorrow.
that's crazy.
You're going to be able to hear all the games. You'll be able to hear such voices as Calvin Kugler
Whoa,
and Nick Bahi
whoa,
and many others on the Westwood One Radio Network.
that are outside of the Omaha and Lincoln metros.
Yes. And
Incredible.
Scott Graham.
Whoa, Scott. Hey, Scott.
So enjoy your
Should get
weekend,
Scottish.
everybody.
Isn't his name Scott?
It's fair.
We'll be back on Monday. Good night, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
March into savings with Edwards Kia March Mania lease special. Lease the 2025 Kia 4K EX starting at just $209 a month. That's the 2025 K4 EX starting at just $209 a month. A brand new Kia for an unbeatable price. Don't wait. These deals won't last. March into Edwards Kia today. It pays to make the drive to Edwards Kia.
$1,999 down plus first payment and doc fee of $180 due at signing. 24-month, 20,000-mile lease. Stock K621945. Acquisition fee of $650 not included. Tax, title, and license extra. Negative equity will affect payment. Security deposit waived with approved credit. Offer valid through 03